I apologize. We are going to continue our debate about the Trump executive orders. So give me just a few seconds. I'm going to set up the stream on Build, and we will be right over there in just a few minutes. Going on? Hello, Mr. Balderson. I'm just finishing up and pushing YouTube and all the other stuff. So give me just 1 second. Ben, I think I put you live as well. I apologize. If you want to take it off, you can.
You're right.
All right. I just want to make sure before I do something stupid. All right. We are now live on Pilled, Mr. Balderson's channel, Twitch, X, and YouTube. Welcome, everybody. Mr. Balderson. How is Mr. Balderson today?
Wiped out.
Yeah, I hear you, buddy. I hear you.
Well, that's a lot of shows in a row, and it's my springtime, so we are dead in the middle of the heaviest work season where I got to move all the fucking dirt and do all that kind of shit. And got babies running around and shearing and you name it.
You know, speaking of shearing.
Hey, chat. Hey, chat. Please donate to the stream so our daddy can take care of us. We need him.
Exactly.
That's a pretty good one.
That is a good one, isn't it? shearing it. Well, I wanted to just continue obviously the conversation because, you know, it just seems like people don't think that the Trump executive orders are not benefiting the American people. Santa, what do you have to say about that?
I think some of them surely do, but a lot of them are for special interest, and I believe that about both parties.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we all know that, you know, he's trying to do right. He is trying to do right by American people. We would all agree with that, at least most of us.
No, I wouldn't. I'd say he's done real good by Israel.
Yeah.
Janie!
Ben, can you post the StreamYard link for me, please?
Obvious.
Yeah.
This term seems to be pretty obvious. I would agree with Ben.
Hello, Cheney. How are you? Good to see you. My elf is in the background, but it's okay if the elf wants to be on screen here. I do not I do not care. I don't.
Now
You
that
know-
doesn't mean that I'm against Trump any more than I'm against any other president. I often refer to people and going, "Hey, I'm tired of your government."
Well, I mean, listen. Everybody has a right to their own opinion. Everybody has a right to their own thoughts, right?
Yep.
But in most cases, everybody has TDS or Trump derangement syndrome
No.
or orange man. I'm saying most cases, right?
Okay.
There are exceptions to the rule, and I think one would agree with that. The problem that I have is everybody is focusing on the negative. I mean, very little people that you see in certain media situations, excuse me, would say that he is the worst president than we've ever had.
Well, I don't watch TV. Is that what they're doing?
Pretty much. I mean, that is a personal opinion. I have not seen, other than in right-wing media, where they're praising him for everything. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
But that's not
very
necessarily
disheartening.
more reliable, is it?
I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry if I spoke over you. But
okay.
that's not necessarily more reliable, is it?
I don't want to. I don't want to allude to reliability. And Santa, I turned your mic up a little bit so I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Thank
you.
I would say, or I would actually allude to my point of they don't want to put any achievement that he has done. They always want to focus on the negative than a positive, right?
I would agree with that. Yeah.
You
Like
know,
a sixth grader playground.
pretty much a sixth grade or that what was that game? Red Rover. He's
Yeah.
the one that always gets clotheslined at the end. And it's bad. It's bad for morale, number one. And I'm not even saying my own morale. It's bad for morale and period, because it puts people into the mindset that they have to do things like try to unalive him. I mean, look what just happened today. Let's take today for an example. A person that obviously has TDS or mental health issues just got himself in a very bad situation because of ideology. And Ben, can you take over a second? There's somebody wanting to come on the panel that I've got to give them the link. Would you mind, Ben?
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead with what you were going to say, Salty.
Oh, I was just making sure security had asked if we're live anywhere. So I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, we're live. Yeah, we're live.
So we can't say the salty stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's easy. What do I think? Yeah, I think he's being held accountable for being the most powerful human in, we used to say, the free world, perhaps all of the world. And it seems as though those decisions that have been made in this particular government, from, let's see, people who were negotiating on our behalf for peace solutions being of one ilk, and then other people making very serious decisions in this administration being of a particular ilk, and they all wear the same hat. I just, after a while, coincidences add up. I'm not guessing you disagree, Ben.
No,
I'm
No.
sorry you're so tired, bro.
not your fault. That's too many days streaming in a row, and then also spring. So
Yeah.
like too big. Both things would have worn me out, and I've got both of them going on. And
Now
I'm sorry that I'm so low energy.
Now, see this young lady? I think she's about at the point of lifting a 70-pound hay bale.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. She's my back. She calls me in when she needs the big mover, but if you have to bend down to do it, I can't do it.
Tell me the thing about me moving 80-pound cement bags for
Oh, yeah.
7 hours.
Some idiot in a highly fluorescent shirt got 80-pound bags of cement because they used to have a back.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, girl, we got to move them. She's like, all right.
I moved them till I could not move them at all.
80 pounds, a pretty solid bag. That's pretty good.
You need one of these.
Yeah.
Santa helper. No, she's badass.
Yeah, no, all my kids are grown. Exactly, Cheney. All my kids are all grown, and I think, let's see, my youngest is 21 or 22. 20.
Hey, Aunt, check your Discord.
22.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're 22.
I just sent a link to a very good friend of mine. He's coming over from pilled.net. He should be making his way in here shortly. Very good friend, very good conversation we will be having. He was about to jump on the tomato, like literally, and she was ending it. So,
Well, and Spin, just before we do that, are we cool? Because I'm cool.
oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I got thick skin, brother. I got
Good.
thick skin, brother.
He has to put up with me. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I get why it's contentious. I respect that it's contentious.
How's it
It's
going,
always
everybody?
been
Can everybody hear me all right?
Yeah,
Yep,
Toast,
that'll
we hear
work
you,
the
buddy.
connected food.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I was,
all right.
All right.
Oh,
See,
God.
now I have to get a
Y'all
mic
are
on here.
crazy.
Exactly.
Neil,
I'll get
I
that.
love how much the conversation has been elevated since you've come into the community. I love it.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm very humbled by that.
I love having you.
I like
Yeah,
that we're damn near the
he's a
same
good
age.
guy.
But your hair's all white and mine's not. It makes me feel good.
Well, it's thinning, bro. It's thinning.
Yeah, I ain't got none of that hair, but my beard still got the color.
I saw a picture from like 2 years ago when I was trying to grow not the man bun. Now my niece has got me calling that a
Yes.
top knot.
You're just calling it what it is,
Oh,
Dad.
shush.
No, you cannot silence me.
I wouldn't try to silence you. I just assign more work.
What's up,
I'm
Aunt?
shutting up
There's
now.
the ant. There's the ant. Well, anyway, back on the topic. I just feel that Trump is not getting the recognition and the props that he deserves. I mean, he is doing good things, but people are focused on the bad.
Well,
Yeah.
sure, but that's normal. People don't usually
right. I mean,
remember
it's
the good; they
normal.
remember the bad things. But they're not going to remember because they were good things. We have a almost instinctual thing where we just put good things out of mind because they're not a threat.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
And
unless
also
the
recency
economy's good.
bias.
If
Huh?
the economy's bad, I
Yeah,
don't give a fuck.
that's what
if
I was
he's
trying to
cheesing.
describe.
Yeah.
Well,
If the
I mean,
economy's good,
yeah, we're
like
feeling.
Reagan, they thought Reagan fucking walked on water. If your economy's shit, like that's why Trump did so well in this one, because everybody's like, I preferred Trump's economy. Now he's going to walk out if he doesn't manage to fix this economy in his 2.5 years he has left.
Yeah.
Then he's burnt his reputation forever.
Reagan's economy was pretty good, but you got to understand he also had to spend a whole shit ton of money so we could finally end the goddamn Cold War once and for all.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying the economy was great during Reagan.
Yeah.
So people loved Reagan. It's just how it works. Like the
Well,
economy.
not everybody loves Reagan. Like you hear about people saying trickle down economics, like that's a real thing. It's not, by the way.
I know kids, liberal kids today talk shit about Reagan, but during the Reagan era, that guy walked on water.
Nah, I was alive during that era, trust me. And I was living in California. Trust me, there were people who really hated Reagan.
Yeah, you were in California. I'm in South Dakota. That's two definitely different state views.
Yeah, I could believe that around South Dakota there wasn't a lot of shit talking for Reagan. I could believe that. But
Arizona was pretty pro-Reagan. Arizona was pretty pro-Reagan, yeah.
No, I'm not saying everybody in California. At that time, California, I believe, was still red or had just turned blue for the first time in forever.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
So there was still Reagan supporters in California, especially since he'd been the governor of California. People remembered that, and they liked him as governor. So there was support for him. It just wasn't universal.
My wife, Reagan literally lived kitty corner. You know, it's farmland, so or ridgeland. So he literally would fly over, and they'd all go out and watch him land with the president and shit.
That's cool. Now, Spin, why do you think that, or do you think that Trump is being treated more
I was gonna say most.
I'm sorry, which one's Spin?
Sorry.
Wait a minute. What? Go ahead, Neil. Finish it.
Okay. Do you think that Trump is being treated more harshly, given the economic situation of the country, than other previous presidents with similar economies were treated?
Just for dialogue, so I understand the question, give me an example.
When the economy sucks, everybody hates the president.
I would agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, historically, there's never been a president that won on a down economy, ever.
Yeah. And I don't recall a worse economy right now. This is worse than the Biden years for me.
I mean, listen, and this is a Captain Obvious fucking statement, right? We're all feeling the negative impacts of the economy at the moment at the gas pump, in the grocery store, and just self-care products. I mean,
basic necessities are killing.
Yeah, basic necessities, or what we would say are a basic necessity, because obviously, Ben, you are living proof that you technically don't need a grocery store. You technically, I mean, obviously, fuel is your biggest employer, if you will.
Well, yeah. All right. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
That wasn't for me.
Go ahead.
I appreciate what Ben does. I think it's great. I'm not going to shit on people that want to maintain skills like that, or even if, for whatever. Anyways, I'm getting off the topic. Not everybody can do that. Even if they wanted to. Here's why. There isn't enough arable land in the country to give everybody their own plot to grow enough food for their entire family. It's just not going to work out that way. It's much more efficient to have large farms that grow food for the population than having lots of small farms that try to feed themselves.
No.
Well, I would definitely disagree. I would say that on 1 acre, and we have plenty of acreage to cover that. On 1 acre, people can grow more than enough food to sustain themselves. They wouldn't have a lot of the fineries, but that's what grocery stores were originally for, was for things that you couldn't take care of at home. Your base food production was at home, so you never starved.
But you're not ranching on 1 acre.
You're definitely not ranching. No.
And that, I mean, not everybody's a vegetarian, Ben.
That definitely helps me. My wife is not a vegetarian. She actually does really well on the carnivore diet.
Mm-hmm. Most of
Are
us
we
do.
closer?
But I'm not here to give nutritional advice.
Well,
I
we
don't-
have.
I don't
6
care.
and a half- We
Well,
have
like, she
6.5
did-
acres.
she did- when her and I met, she was originally a vegetarian, but her body did not take that well.
Yeah.
Mine does. Her
It's-
body, her teeth. She lost. This is part of why her teeth went to shit. Her teeth. She lost all the strength in her teeth. Her hair got super thin, and her nails got thin. And then when she started eating meat again, her nails immediately. It was crazy. It looked like paper up front, and then the back was all thick, and her hair came back in. She distinctly needs meat in her diet. There's just no doubt about it. Where as a vegetarian, like I was a vegetarian when I flew off a motorcycle and into a tree at like 55 and shattered my whole left side. I was over 40 and I still healed up, a lot faster than they ever thought I ever could heal up, and was back out doing stuff. And so it doesn't bother my body at all. My nails are, that's literally my thumbnail. Like my nails are thick as fuck. I don't, it works for me.
My gut thicker.
Well, Cheney in the chat says people could grow enough on an acre, especially with barter and trading. Mr. Balderson, your thoughts?
I do agree with that. Like I said, I understand that most people aren't going to grow everything at home, and you're going to need to trade. You're going to need to go get spices. I mean, back in the day before all food was commercialized, we had giant wars over spices and sugar and shit like that. I get all that.
You can only trade if you have a surplus.
Yes.
Hold on, Ant.
That is 100% true also. So you definitely need to grow enough to grow a surplus. With that said, in just the size of a normal city lot is all my yard is. And we don't grow grass in our yard. We use it for garden space. And in just my yard, we grow, I couldn't even tell you how many pounds of tomatoes every year, just thousands and thousands of tomatoes and peppers and you name it. We can all of that, make our spaghetti sauces and pizza sauces and our spices for the year. And we have tons left over. There's tons that just gets fed to the chickens and the other animals and fucking given away, you name it. But if we got serious about doing this and didn't have the grocery store, we could definitely do this again.
Sure. Santa, go ahead.
Wasn't that
Your
the
thoughts.
big problem in
Hold on,
1955
Toasty.
with
Hold on,
Reagan?
Toasty. I'll come to you. Santa, your thoughts.
Sure. We have 6.5 acres. We're homesteading. Now we have, as you can see, kind of a combination of reliance on local grocery. We have the capacity with the land to be self-sufficient, but I think when someone mentioned not being able to go on an acre and do it themselves, I think it's just about trade-offs. Because one of the things you move, and a lot of people thought they were going to buy their McFarm or their McRanch, and it was going to be romantic. As Ben and I are saying now, exhausted every night, there's a lot of work. Now there's winter time coming for up here. We're cold. It's not that much snow, but there isn't that as much to do. So it's, I think, the seasonal engagement where you're just working, 14, 16 hours a day to maintain, especially any livestock. And then you have the other things, mending fences and a lot of other work that isn't really portrayed in the demonstration or the presentation of the farm life that people are overwhelmed by. I think a lot of people have a lot of good hearts, but boy, it's the hardest job I've ever had.
Go ahead,
the
Ant.
internet makes it look like there's just move off grid and live like you did in the city and it's no big deal. You either have to put in a lot of work. You either have to put in a lot of work to have other people do that work for you, or you got to do it for yourself, which is what I do. The work still has to get done.
Or sorry, rookie move. I was muted. Go ahead, Ant. Your thoughts, sir.
Well, I don't really have an interest in being a farmer or a rancher, so I appreciate those who do. And I prefer to provide other services in exchange for my nutritional needs.
Well,
as much as I like animals, I have a minor interest in maybe getting some chickens in a garden someday, but that's as far as I ever want to go with it.
Well, I mean, it's very obvious. I mean, I've said this before. In my situation, I am not able. Asvaroom, good to see you. Thanks for coming, sir.
Hey.
Thank you.
The Asvaroom, we are live on the Benjamin Balderson channel. We are live on all of my platforms, including pilled.net. Welcome to the panel.
Thank you for having me.
Sure, absolutely. Anytime, Asvaroom. Very good fellow. Back to what I was saying, and then Asvaroom will get your thoughts on the question that is up on the screen, as you can probably see. I feel with my situation is very different than obviously Ben's and Neil's for obvious reasons. I am dependent on a grocery store. I mean, I had thoughts whenever I was younger that I could be able to do, something like-minded of Neil and Ben, but it just goes to show you how life can change in a matter of minutes. But me being as dependent I am on a grocery store for meats and vegetables, it kind of sucks at the end. But I'm not saying that I could not have a little tomato garden or cucumbers or something like that, but something of a grandiose size, right? I would not be able to manage it where I would have to have another set of hands to do so. Toasty, your thoughts, and then we'll go to Asvaroom.
Yeah, I was just about to say, wasn't that like the big old farm thing that was going on in 1955? I think it was Reagan, right? No, Reagan couldn't have been 55.
Reagan was the 80s, and it was a post-World War II thing where they really pushed. They called it the Victory Garden. And
I'm thinking 1955. And the government did a big old fucking deal where they basically had to cut back everyone's farmland because the lands were producing so much fucking food that a whole bunch of it was going to waste.
Yeah, that's how they control price, do price controls.
Yeah. So what I was basically going towards is agreeing with Balderson. You can absolutely produce pounds and pounds of fucking food. Like if we were all fucking farming, like if all 365 million of us were fucking farming, the government wouldn't know what to do with it. And basically our fucking food prices would drop dramatically, I think, because there would be just so much that they'd have to like basically sell it all as fast as they can. So I was gonna go ahead and agree with both Balderson and Santa on that. You really don't need that much space to become completely self-sufficient.
Well, I would
just look at vertical gardens.
I would like to get Asvaroom's take on it, just because obviously he's in another country that may or may not have the space to do something like that. So Asvaroom, the statement is people could grow enough like produce or whatever on an acre of ground, especially if they would be able to barter and or trade. What are your thoughts?
In my country, it won't be possible. I think because we're overpopulated, so we are a wheat exporter. But if our population keeps expanding at this rate, we need to depend on other industries as well, right? So everyone can't afford to actually like have an acre or more in this country. Having an acre itself or a farmer is too much. So basically, like if everyone were to try and cultivate it, it won't work out in this country. In your country, it would work out because your country is actually bigger in size than our country, and the population is at least a quarter of ours. Here we have 1.2 billion people, so it won't work out for us.
Right. But,
yeah, we
but
have a
you-
lot of land and not that many people in it. It's a fact.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm not saying. So I guess what I'm alluding to, Asroom, is it is possible in your country to maybe have some sort of trading barter for a vegetable or a fruit or whatever.
Problem actually with my country is the food is very adulterated. So let's say they do trading as well. I don't know how beneficial it will be for the person doing it, because there are many cases that are coming out. You must have known a milk product called cottage cheese. They call it paneer in Hindi, but you must have heard of cottage cheese. They've raided many factories producing fake cottage cheese and selling it to people. And then they've come across many poultry farms adulterating, selling eggs that are very toxic in nature. So here doing barter is little tough actually. There are too many people over here. When there are too many people, it becomes a problem. Your country, it's possible to do this, but in my country, I don't think it's possible. Like, I shouldn't be saying this with my own mouth, but in my country, at least half the population should go away so that the other half can live. It's that bad, actually.
Well, I mean,
And as Varun is Thanos, I would have never guessed that, but excellent.
No, but it's really that bad actually. I'm not lying to you. You should go to the states of Bihar, UP, and see the children over there. They're more malnourished than sub-Saharan African children. So it's really pathetic actually. So I don't know how it will work out for us. It's not so easy, and the government is heavily into developing industrial production right now. So roads are very essential for transporting goods. So if there are farmlands, they'll seize the farmlands. They'll pay them some paltry sum as compensation, and they'll use it to develop roads. So I don't think it's possible. The government's hold over here is also pretty strong. They promise a lot of freebies to everyone, and they have to deliver to everyone, right? So they've made a mess of everything over here. It's a failed state. So whatever it's possible in your country, I don't think it's going to be possible in our country. But the problem is, if you keep getting more people from the third world into your country, they couldn't build the same kind of infrastructure and civilization they could in their country. Yeah. So they'll spoil your country as well.
It can be that way, and I'm generally one who's pretty open-minded to American immigration, because I'm also Native American. See, I see just spinning up right there, but
okay,
but having been around the world,
you got to use that fucking spinning up and fucking wheels and shit, man.
But what you're saying is not wrong at all. I mean, if people, when they come, they need to either accept the mindset of becoming an American, or they need to bring their home ways to here. And in the past, for example, a lot of the Irish and Scottish who went to the northwest of the Americas, they didn't establish they were Scots-Irish Americans. Their aspiration was to be Americans. And one of the things that was new is when the Mexican Americans, many of whom I have very close relationships with, they started keeping that more Mexican American. And then the African American, which was brought up more, I think, during Obama's presidency, this delineation where people are separate. So going back to your separate point, it's your specific point. Are you from India?
Yeah, I'm Indian, but British ancestry and Indian ancestry mixed.
To put a fine point, to put a fine point on what Asvarun is saying, according to AI anyways, in the United States, there's 93 to 95 people per square mile. In India, there's 1,286 people per square mile.
Wow.
Well,
and I've worked with a lot of Indians in tech, and I thought it was astonishing that people who were in villages 20 miles away spoke completely different dialects. You know, there is a lot that's going for the U.S. and a lot that's not going for India. I wish you the best and all that. Again, I agree with Spin. NAFTA is what screwed both the Mexicans and the U.S. Americans. No doubt.
That's what, and you're right, Neil. That is exactly what I was alluding to. I mean, you know, you could live off your own land, even if it's a postage stamp. I think we all would agree with that, and Ben, I'm sure you would agree with that.
Love the hustle.
Right. Now, let's go to if we were to have a true recession where in that recession there was not the availability of some.
What do you think we're in?
Can I finish my statement, Mr. Balby? Please.
We're in a true recession. What do you mean if?
Okay. If a product was not available and you and I could get the seed to grow it, one would say that you could trade that product. I mean, literally, right? Now, Ben, I'm sure you're familiar with blacksmithing, and you know, I'm not saying we're going to go back to the fucking horseshoeing age. I'm saying you
maybe we fucking need to.
It's a ping pong, but at the end of the day, it could be a real thing, and God forbid that we ever have to see that for our children or our grandchildren or whatever, because in most families, and Asvarum, I don't know if it would be true over there, our younger generation is not going to know how to live off the land unless the elders teach them how to live off of dirt and rock and soil, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Asvarum, over there, and please forgive me, I'm ignorant to your culture and your teachings, but does your culture teach living off the land and you know, self-support?
Yeah, it does teach, but after the IT sector came over here, because the rates were cheaper for hiring labor, everyone jumped into the IT boom sector. So they abandoned agriculture. First, we were an agricultural nation. Then we started industrializing so slowly, but we were a socialist country till 1995. After 1995, we opened up our markets and allowed products from other MNCs from different countries to come into our country. But everyone started going more and more into the IT sector, which is the service sector. So I think the generation X for our country also is the last smart generation. The millennials over here, the Gen Zs, they're not so bright. They're not good with money. I don't think they know how to farm and live off their land also. They're like, they're very mediocre people, to be honest. I shouldn't be saying this, but it's a fact.
You know what? And you are the best judge because you're there and we're not. That's where I'm saying.
I'm seriously telling you, over here, I don't know why sometimes the Western media hypes up this country. It's so corrupt over here. If you want to transfer your property from father to son, there's a lot of legal procedures. To get that done, you have to pay a bribe. To get the land allotted in your name after going to the registration office, you have to bribe the corporators a lot over here. The bureaucracy is so tied into everything. Without taking a bribe, nothing moves over here. It's that corrupt actually. For everything you have to cough a bribe up.
Right. And you know what sucks, and I do have friends, very nice friends of your culture, and they tell me similar stories about how the corruption in your country is so rampant that they want to move out of that country and come to maybe not even the United States, but a very looser lipped, if you will, society. And they immigrate to, I've heard England. I'm just saying things that I've heard, but predominantly the Indian culture or the Indian communities come to the United States because they're tired of all the hypocrisy and all of the politics that are just absolutely nuts, if you will.
Yeah. The problem is, I shouldn't be saying this, but I'm saying this with my own mouth. Today's Indians, they've become rogues actually. They'll do anything for sex, money, and power. They've become rogues. Like even in the corporate sector, if you want a promotion, you have to sleep with the higher ups. Then you get a promotion. Not your talent doesn't matter. It's like that actually.
Well, and then we can probably take that back to about corporate farming. And Ben can probably tell you a lot more, but I think, and I hope Ben knows where I'm going with this. The way of the corporate farms, they sometimes take over the little farms, even land. They go in and they offer an extravagant amount of money for corporate greed, and that's what I see. Florida. I live in the state of Florida, Azvarum. The orange groves. Florida is known for Florida orange juice. In the last 6 years, I have seen orange groves go to housing development. It is so overrun, but then they'll go out to the Midwest and they'll plant thousands and thousands of acres for corporate greed, if you will, or not corporate greed, but for profit, obviously. Do you have that? Do you have that over there?
Yeah, something like that is that the multinational company owners over here are Reliance, then Adani Group, then Ambuja Cements, then Reliance Dhirubhai Ambani company was there, but that went for a toss. Then Tata Group is there, Birlas are there. They lobby a lot of politicians to pass laws that favor them, irrespective of the harm it does to the environment. Even if they gobble up their competition also, it's all right. They are like, what do you say, they're hand in glove with the politicians over here. The politicians, like what they do is they'll make a lot of promises, right? So when they make a lot of promises, how are you going to deliver it? Like you can't appease everyone. So in the end, they end up making a mess of everything over here. When the election comes, they'll start promising free jewelry, free bus ride, actually, from area to
Azvarum, we know all about that in New York City. It just happened here. It just happened.
Yeah. The sad thing actually is people problems will be solved, but even the European Union is heavily mixed with bureaucracy and it's got a lot of rules. And because of their stiff way of doing things, you can't open a business up within, it'll take a year to start a business. They'll take away a lot of your money and use it for government programs. So even Europe has become poor. Only America is competitive, but slowly America is becoming, that is, I shouldn't be saying this, it's becoming like India, because I follow John Stossel. He espouses libertarian policies, but the more I see him, the libertarian policies are actually being eroded more by socialist policies. Actually, both the Republicans and the Democrats are guilty of this. So you're slowly like aping us gradually, and I don't want you to become like us. That's all. but it's happening actually.
Ben, your thoughts on Asvarum's statement, sir?
I didn't catch it.
It's okay. Santa, your thoughts on Asvarum's statement, or your thoughts?
Well, my heart just goes out. That's a lot of people, so many layers of hierarchy with people all taking a pinch along the way. We are seeing that more in our culture. I think that's really the kind of destiny unless we rebuild our communities. I mean, I don't know that it's an accident that there are people who want us to have fractious communities.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's fractious communities. I think they are afraid of the fractious communities that could take over politics in some sort of fashion. Wouldn't you agree?
Respectfully, no. I mean, I think that there's certainly reason to support that. But the reason that I would suggest they're not afraid of it is because they keep creating them. And I'll tell you who the theys are. The theys are the people that have the money that are buying us our politicians now.
Well, you know, in some, I want to say minute fashion, I agree with what you're saying, Neil. I would just my pushback would be corporate greed when it comes to any type of business. And Asvarum, if I may use your analogy of like a jewelry business or something of that nature, it speaks volumes, but when it doesn't happen, it's too late. Right? I mean, they're already, these elected officials, they're already in office, and you go 2, 3, well, in our politics, 3.5 to 4 years, but maybe right before the end of the term, if you will, they enact it, and then all of a sudden, it's happening. But it should have happened at the beginning of, or I don't want to say generally at the beginning, because policy happens through those 4 years, right? But the most important policies that they ran upon are put to the wayside because of maybe some justification. We have to deal with a policy prior.
I would argue in reverse that they do prioritize the lawmaking that they're going to do, and that's based on the donor size and the activity size of the influence within a community. When I met the Speaker of the House, I won't name, nothing for or against him, you know, it was midterm, just like you were saying. In meeting that Speaker of the House, the only reason that I met that person is because I was running a corporation in Central California that had significant influence. But if I was an individual person living in the middle of California, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet the Speaker of the House.
Right. Well, I mean, we can go back to, I mean, you are in the upper mid or far, whatever, Northwest. Sorry, I lost the thought.
I moved.
Yeah. So, I mean, and Ben is in California proper. So let's go to the wine industry. I mean, we all know that the wine industry, and I'm sure Asvarum, you probably have a wine industry in your country as well. It is very
liquor.
Very competitive.
We have a liquor industry, and they could crumble governments only. They were very powerful once upon a time. The liquor lobby was so strong. Without them, the governments could not get money for their elections. So these people would be the kingmakers behind the scenes. They were very powerful in the 90s and 80s and 70s. Now their power has come down. But in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, the liquor lobby was so powerful that the government would literally like crumble if they wouldn't get their support in any manner.
True. I mean, but we could. Would you say one could correlate the wine or the wine industry to food production?
Yeah, you can do it. I'm not saying that you can't do it, but since your country it's not as corrupt as ours, but you're slowly heading there the way I'm seeing it. But in our country, actually, it'll end up becoming a mess. They'll create a bureaucratic government for department for that. The bureaucracy will suck the money out of the private businessman before he tries to start up his business, and then they'll make a mess of everything, and it'll end up going nowhere. Actually, that's how it is for us.
Well, I apologize that your country is so corrupt in on the four corners, right?
Yeah.
Now, in our country, I'm sure that there is a bot person, bot as in bought or paid, whatever. But it does seem like and I use this term very, very loosely, a third world country.
Yeah.
It is more prevalent than what it is in the United States.
Yeah, definitely. I want to say this also. This is very controversial. What I'm going to say. Please forgive me if you find it offensive.
Not at
but
all.
I really want to say this. I have noticed one thing. They say that socialism stifles growth, right? When the Soviet Union was in power, it was filled again with Slavs. Slavs are whites again. They actually created the first artificial heart. They sent the first man in space. They created many innovations as well. So I feel race and IQ is heavily interrelated with the economic development of a country. Now in South Africa, they hate whites coming up over there, so they're doing everything to crush them. In Zimbabwe, they confiscated all the land from the white farmers, and the whole country from being from becoming the food basket of Africa, it became a barren land. Then in Ivory Coast, when the French were ruling Ivory Coast, it was like the Japan of Africa. When they kicked the whites out over there again, the French whites, the country again went back to a very bad condition. So the pattern is actually like very similar in India also. What happened was that, see, the British did bad things over here. I'm not saying no, but instead of understanding how they created successful institutions by modeling their growth patterns in Europe later on post colonialism in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the Indians actually made a mess of everything over here. So this is what I feel. I feel race and IQ are heavily necessary for the development of any country. Otherwise, Africa has so many resources. They should be outshining the European Union in every way. Why aren't they doing it? It's like it has to be like this. And the worst part actually is all the productive people on the planet, like East Asians or the Caucasians, they're having one or two children, or they're not having any children at all. So, and all the unproductive people who have been like this for a very long time are having more children. So I don't know what kind of economy we'll have only in the future. We'll have something like a mixture of feudalism and corruption and some moderate, some form of technological development. It'll be a mixture of all these three. It'll be a very vague form of capitalism, I feel, the way things are going. I don't like to say such things, but you can't stop observing this pattern that happens every time. Like even in Southeast Asia, the main players actually in the market are Han Chinese because of their intelligence. So you take them out of the equation, the Indonesians, the Malaysians, or the Filipinos, they're not so productive. So the Han Chinese are more enterprising and business oriented, and they're very good at doing business and allocating resources in a very effective manner. So you take them also out of the equation, it's bad. So even you see the same pattern happening in Korea and Japan. So I just feel that race, IQ, and economics are totally related together. And the more these people from underdeveloped countries who have only like been surviving for a long time, who've not been well fed as well, go on and on procreating, their brains are underdeveloped. It's only like fit for surviving somewhere at the end of the day. They don't have the kind of resources that you have. So for generations, they've been used to the same problems. They'll create the same problems all over the world. I shouldn't be saying this. It might sound racist, but
No,
I
not
had
at
to say
all.
it
I mean, one thing on this platform, on my platform, and I'm sure others, speech is fine.
Okay.
There is no judgment, so you don't have to apologize. But I do understand your culture, sir, and but I'm just letting you know there is nothing that you are going to say that would offend me, except for the obvious.
Yeah.
Santa, your thoughts on Asvaroom, please.
What's up, Forrest?
I do see that
Hold on, Santa. I apologize. Fourth Wise Man is in the chat. Good evening or good morning, whatever it is in across the big pond. And Fletch said hello, Mr. Balderson. P. Fletch.
What's up, P. Fletch?
And Santa, back to you, sir.
There is a correlation between populations, what they're able to eat, dietary needs, especially growing up, and IQ. There have been numerous studies across different continents, across different populations, and it's true.
I don't know if they did.
It's even in Appalachia. Even in Appalachia, they see the similar pattern though in smaller scale. So I mean, I think we owe it to all the world, to everybody, to get to be as wildly nutritious or eat to have nutritious food as much as capable. But there does come a point, a balancing point, which I even hate to say, but isn't the nature of our humans first? And where do you draw the line? I believe everyone's equal, but not everyone is as helpful.
Well, I mean, it's very natural, and in today's society, I mean, I live in a community. Okay, in our community here, you know who will help you and who won't. But if we were to compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges, would that populace in your community in a troubled time or a feast or famine time actually help you? And I want to say, I know in the Indian culture, it is very, very, very liberal, but very conservative as well when it comes to money and potentially food. I could, Asvaroom, I'm assuming. So I don't want to offend you either, right? But we have to take the good, and we have to investigate the good, and then we have to take it to the other end of the spectrum of the what ifs, because in life we have to explore the what if the world was going to come to an end, just for semantics, right? Would thy neighbor help you? Would friendship would friendship outweigh feast or famine?
I think it'll not outweigh. I know how humans are. They're only good as long as the times are good. When times change, they become evil. So they're like they go wherever the wind takes them. Most of the humans are actually untrustworthy in today's world. So they placing morals, ethics, and principles above their own selfish needs in most of the cases is highly unlikely. I've seen it with my own eyes, my own family members, how they backstabbed each other for property, how they tried to cheat each other as well. So, and that's the same case with many families actually. So, if you can't trust blood, then whom will you trust actually?
Well, I mean, you should trust thy family, and trust thy
Yeah.
neighbor. However, I go back to the moral clause of feast or famine. Salty, your thoughts, sir? What the hell was that? It sounded, I don't know what that was. Anyway, I mean, I just feel that you know, in any given situation, whether it be family, they would, and I've seen it in my own family where, hey, do you have a gallon of milk? No, we need it for us. We're not going to the grocery store. Not that it's not plentiful, right? But they are very, family in itself could be very self-centered or and self uh I don't want to say, well, I could say self-profiting, right? They don't want, they may or may not want to help you because they have their own survival needs.
And one more thing, that driven by jealousy. If I've always seen this, a friend is more trustworthy than a family member, especially in India. When they see you thrive, they become so jealous of you. They'll try to do everything to pull you down. So over here, trusting your relatives is as good as actually signing your own death sentence. It's very risky over here. So they meet each other during family functions, or if something like a wedding or someone's death anniversary. But other than that, friendship is actually more reliable over here than being with relatives. They're very cutthroat actually. They're they may they're very hypocritical also. They'll show off that they're very nice and whatnot to you on the front, but they'll be ready to stab you in the back at any moment, and they'll be
Would you
envious of
call
your
it
nice.
hypocrisy, or would you consider it competitism?
I think it's a mixture of competitism, envy, and hypocrisy. Like it's a mixture of all three. They envy your progress a lot. They can't stand it when you thrive in life being your relatives. Like they'll be thinking that, oh, he's rising so high. Why am I still like this? And why should I be like this? If I can't have it, even he too shouldn't have it. And they'll resort to underhand tactics to bring you down.
Right, and you know, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Neil will back me up on this, but I see that in a lot of American way as well. Competitivism, maybe envy, and I've definitely seen cutthroat shit. I'm not gonna sit here and say I didn't, right? But that is, I don't know if I would say that's human nature or just outlooks or even political outlooks.
Well, one piece of writing that really sticks with me is Animal Farm. And then one quote in particular says, "We're all equal, but some of us are more equal than others."
Well, now, in saying that, is that a self-proclaimed
2 legs bad, 4 legs good?
yeah. Neil, I knew where you were going with that, but the comment that I would have, is it more their outlook or purview to be that competitive? I mean, let's say this. This is semantics. My son finished, got a 99 on his SATs, but my daughter got a 78. And you're trying to compete and retake it to say outdo A or B or 1 or 2, right? Just so I'm
sure. But isn't that the market outside of socialism? And I laugh when people in our federalistic republic are worried about socialism when there are several programs, major programs in the U.S. that are socialistic. But the problem with all the isms, be it the federalism, be it communism, be it capitalism, be it communism, is humans are involved. And I think, therefore, in answer to your question before, is it's a human nature issue. Those people in Asrams, I hope I said your name well.
Yeah, correct, sir.
Those people are not, their aspiration was not to shit on their neighbor, or maybe it was, but it's more competitive there than it might be here. And the higher the competition, the more some of us are more equal than others, and the some of us that think they're more equal than the other people are going to do favors for each other, and that is, what do we call that before? The old good boys network?
The good old boys network.
Yeah.
I just want to read the fourth wise man over on the Benjamin Balderson channel says 99% of success is due to what you put in your mind and follow through.
Yep.
If you put in bad input, you get poor results. What goes in must come out. Best fill your thoughts with good things. Mr. Balderson, your response, sir.
100% correct. 100% correct. The problem is these kids put good things in their mind, but then they don't follow through. The follow through is the part that's not happening anymore, where they've just turned ADHD and they just flit off to the next thing and off to the next thing, and they don't actually ground any of these good ideas. But this is 100% correct.
And it's both of what the fourth wiseman said, though, isn't it, Spin? It's
I'm sorry,
both of
say
those
it again,
things.
Neil. I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry if whoever I interrupted.
It's me. It's me.
But it's both things, because it's not only what you put in your mind and you follow through. When I've heard excuses from people, I go, Frederick effing Douglass. Now, you want to read a guy who had everything against him and fought his way to being a diplomat or a statesman or whatever it was.
Sure.
He definitely is a proof of what the fourth wiseman said. That said, people are in the chatter going, does anybody think they're better? Yes, a lot of people think they're better than you are. I'm not one of them, but it's a common thing. Animal Farm was talking about the human condition, and I read the fourth wiseman saying, don't be subject or victim to the human condition. You have to go for what you're going for with relentless dedication. And when you have that relentless dedication, you're going to see more of your goals fulfilled than sitting around and bitching about everything else that somebody else didn't do it.
Absolutely. As Varum, your thoughts on the fourth wise man, sir, please.
Well, fourth wiseman is right in theory, but practically to do and fulfill all your dreams is difficult, because I strongly believe in fate. I don't believe in planning. When human beings plan and they try to act like they're in control and they've understood the situation, it backfires many times. So, even if you have good intentions also, it can backfire and it can become bad. We can't control external circumstances at all. We human beings are subject to nature and nature's control. So however smart we think we are and however hard we work, it can all just vanish if nature just does a small jolt on us. So in theory, he's right. But practically, to put it to get the results, even if you work hard, I've seen many people work hard and get nothing to in life. So it will happen only for a few people. I think only a few people are destined to be on the top and manifest their desires and work hard and get somewhere in life. The rest of the people are meant to be down only. I think life is like a pyramid, actually. only you'll have a hierarchy no matter where you go, whether it's socialism, communism, or however equal you try to create the world. There'll always be a hierarchy, and there'll always be someone on top and someone below, actually. And no matter how much you plan and however smart you are, because I've seen many intelligent people who've not seen the kind of success that they have to get in life. See, scientists, without them, we wouldn't have had even capitalism. But they didn't make as much money as a model. All the model ever does is rely on his looks, and he poses, he goes here and there, and he just makes money by showcasing his body and his face. Or someone who's acting. You can live without entertainment, but they're making more money than the scientists and the engineers and the doctors. That's why I feel planning doesn't work. I used to try and plan a lot before and think that if I go in this methodical manner, I might reach my results. But many other factors will also come unexpectedly and drag you down. So don't think that your plans will manifest every single time.
Right. I'm going to read there. Fourth Wiseman has two other comments that I want to read and get your thoughts on for the panel. The Fourth Wiseman says over on the Benjamin Balderson channel, short-term goals are best used for teaching the young ones so they understand consequences following through reaching goal. He also says, if you make a goal hard to obtain, I apologize, it will be hard to attain. If you set your mind that a goal is easy and add discipline, you can reach the goal you set. Your thoughts, gentlemen?
Well, may I ask you, Asphorun, do you think that mindset and Fourth Wiseman mindset are informed by the cultures that they're raised in?
Okay, what I say will be controversial. It might sound hilarious also, but I'm going to say it irrespective of, even if you laugh at me, because if you want to teach young people and make them learn and make them retain it, you'll have to, this sounds crazy, but in our system before colonial rule, we had something called the Gurukul system. Mm-hmm. So in the Gurukul, like what happened is that from 12 to 24, the student had to practice celibacy very strictly, because when you're celibate, you are preserving your vital fluids, and then you're not only physically strong, but you're mentally strong as well. So when knowledge is given to you, you can apply it very well. You can grasp also very well. So if you want to teach young ones and you want to make them learn properly, at least for 12 years, they should observe celibacy from 12 to 24. When they observe celibacy, they'll be physically and mentally strong. So then like they'll be able to execute their ideas in a much better way. That scientist Nikola Tesla, I got to know that he was a celibate too, and he used to get such great ideas because of his celibacy. So people who observe celibacy for prolonged periods of time, they are using their creative force for something for a higher purpose. So at least for 12 years, if they're able to do it, what Fourth Wiseman said will be possible. Otherwise, they'll suffer from ADHD, because in the 12th year, you slowly become aware about the opposite sex and other distractions as well. So if you indulge in any of these activities, you'll simply by heart something before the exam and then you'll vomit it out. So if you want to be perfectly aligned to knowledge and for something like a higher purpose, at least this is the best way to do it actually. If correct me if I'm wrong or something. I'm sorry if I said anything.
No, not at all. Don't apologize. I mean, listen, everybody has their own purview or their own teachings that they want to pass on to their next of kin or their children. Fourth Wiseman says, what I do it from my self-teaching. I wasn't raised this way. Santa, your thoughts, sir?
Well, one, I applaud it. And two, that is once again a contradiction of, oh, I went to this school, so I can't accomplish this. I went to this, whatever. I didn't have my daddy. You know, all these excuses that people have, at least in the American society.
That would be what's considered the defeatist or the
absolutely.
defeatist purview or a
Sure.
defeatist purview. Sorry.
A lot of the people that I've met that have had those setbacks, like me, were more driven, actually. You know, my mom told me very early on, I guess that's a little different than the Fourth Wiseman. She said the only thing that really makes a difference is education. And I stuck with that. I followed education. I worked harder than anyone else. And I was rewarded. But I was able still to have compassion for people who didn't have the family support. I do think that is important, and I applaud anyone who does it on their own. But even as I mentioned, I think that my mom pressing education was so important. And then I was asking Avarun because I wanted to hear the more Asian side of the perspective. A lot of times in the U.S., we have a lot of really grand opinions and forget that there's a globe around us. But thank you.
Night, guys. I gotta go to bed. Night, guys.
Ben, do you want me to shut yours down, or are you gonna let me just run with it?
Go ahead and shut it down whenever.
Okay. All right. Good night, Ben. Thanks for coming in.
Good night.
Well, the Fourth Wise Man also says, I decided to get serious about my life journey, so I never had to rely on others, especially financial institutions. I earn, save, and build. I build assets, some big, some small. I have a lot of liquidity.
Yeah, I mean that was the reward for the goal and sticking with it. Because, you know, I believe two people mentioned if you just have the idea and you're not focused on one goal, you're not going to get to your goal. You have to follow through, and it's the discipline to have that follow through. Opportunity that's not taken is still not rewarding. You have to do the work.
Well, I want to touch on that and give, if you will, Asvarum, give me some levity, and I'll let you respond to the Fourth Wise Man as well. When I was able to do or actuate my career, I was taught by an institution, obviously, because I needed the skills to perform my job duties. What I'm doing now with the news and dialogue and panels and stuff like that has been self-taught. Truthfully, I learn from doing or experience. I don't learn by a book. Even whenever I was in grade school, all through high school, I learned by doing it, not by reading a book. Now, I can't say that there is not an education or something you can become familiar with watching YouTube videos. I'll give you for example. I needed to learn how to set StreamYard up. I watched a video. I started to set it up, but Mr. Balderson helped me finish setting it up. So, and now I know how to run the things and do what I need to do. But education is, I think we all could agree, we could educate ourselves on a lot of the things that we do, even in our community or do professionally, from watching a video, how to do it. I don't know what you think about that statement, but I believe that. So, Asvarum, the Fourth Wise Man, if you can read the statement, if you have any reaction or words that you want to say to that.
that's the thing. Actually, I told you, right, there'll always be a pyramid and a hierarchy. Now, fourth Wiseman is one of the few people who's enterprising. Everyone can't be like him. Like, if everyone were like him, then where you find someone to do the work for you? Like, let's say you set up a company. If everyone is as good as the entrepreneur itself, then why will you need the entrepreneur? How will you run the company? Like, it's designed by fate in such a way that one person will be having some limitations. The other person will have an advantage over him, and that person has to adjust with his limitations to fit into his role in that particular aspect of the company. And it's like that throughout the world itself. So if everyone were to become rich or something like that, it's not going to happen. Like, if everyone wants to be enterprising also, it's not going to happen. Like, let's say you want everyone to become extremely rich, then why will they do risky jobs? And let's say your house catches fire. Being a firefighter is very risky. So now that you're rich, why will you want to go and risk your life and go and enjoy yourself in the fire? So I think our lives are predetermined. So all of us can't become like the way fourth Wiseman has envisioned it. We'll have to adjust with our own limitations, and based upon our limitations, fate will decide what role we'll enact in our lives.
Sure. The fourth Wiseman also says, yes, I often keep my eyes out for bargain items, usually items that require repair that I buy very cheap. Anything and everything I can repair. I am an engineer with my own shop. I resell items at market value, and I profit duly, both from sale excess plus self-employment labor. Your thoughts?
Do you want me to say, or
we're just going to go between you and Santa and myself? Yes.
Oh, okay.
You can start as Varun, or Santa. You can give your thoughts first. It doesn't matter, gentlemen.
I'm, from my travels in Asia, I do find that the cultures are a lot different. I lived in China for a while, and over a year, and it was not like the U.S. I mean, things were just not done the way the U.S. would do them, and I think the psychology of the people is there were things that the government did, and they stayed quiet.
Go ahead, Varun.
I hope you correct me if I'm wrong. I saw a video recently about China, and it's even worse than India. I saw them washing vegetables with toilet water, actually. They showed the video. The trains were also dirty in the rural areas. The corruption is very bad there too. And they say that Chinese people can build stuff, but in China, when they build buildings, they construct them at a rapid pace. So the infrastructure is very fragile. Many of their items come crashing down. The CCP heavily regulates what people can say or say can't say about the government over there. Freedom of speech at least is here to some extent. Over there, it's not there at all. So when you see many YouTube influencers going and praising China, they're paid to do it. If they show anything negative about China, they'll be blacklisted or they'll be sent back home or arrested. So the thing is, to be honest, those who are born in the US are very lucky people. They should not take what they have for granted, the freedom that they have. But even though they are lucky, nothing good can last forever. Like, we don't know for how long the US can be like the way it is before it changes. So I just wish that it can stay like this for a longer time. At least some part of the earth should be good, right?
Well, you made my point, and I gave a long pause there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was 10, 12 years ago.
I apologize.
10, 12 years. And so when I was there, I saw that it was very top down and everything. And I'm not surprised to see some of the problems, because there wasn't agency at an individual level. There was survival on a mass level.
Sure.
And, things might have appeared appeared pretty good where the expats were. But as I went into the ancient cities and the old parts of China that weren't tourist areas, it was very clear that these were not people where personal aspirations were going to work. You had to be favored. You had to know somebody. And that made me humble about being in the U.S. because we don't really have the obstacles other than generally, I mean, they're generalizations.
Sure.
Generally, our willingness to work on it. Generally, our, starting capital. But there are enough examples of people who get up by their bootstraps and they do it. I'm not saying that I want to be responsible for everyone's particular situation. I'm coping with being fully disabled now myself. And, I'm asking Fourth Wiseman for advice because I'm interested in doing what I'm interested in doing.
Sure.
And where the newer generations, I don't hear that. I hear a lot of criticism. I don't hear a lot of them going, hey, where can I be mentored? Can I be, what do they call it? Spin, you work for free, an intern.
An intern,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, an intern.
Because like when you and I started doing EMS, there was a certain amount of learning the job.
Well, just to touch on that for a second, and we can copy each other on this. EMS is a very niche.
Yeah, I was telling I need to imitate him in that, and he's helping me.
Sure.
Get skis on that.
Toasty, is that you?
And that's Toasty back.
Or is that Sarah?
You guys like my new banner?
Oh, I like that. Thank you. I was like, oh crap, she just came in. No, what I was saying, Neil, and I Toasty scared me there for a second. In EMS, I mean, there is a lot of intern and working for free to get your hours, as you know exactly what I'm talking about, or your intern hours. Now, I don't know how far you went, but I went to pretty much the highest level of education that I could without becoming like RN or LPN, sure, and then RN. I have a master. Possess a master's degree in paramedicine, where I went that extra year,
right?
Which in turn gave me a lot more knowledge, right? And the instructor said at the beginning, he says, that book that I just gave you, or that you just bought, that I gave you, when this is done, throw that fucking book in the garbage.
Yeah.
Because you will never experience, or you may never experience, what I'm going to teach you. Emergency medical technician. They teach you the ABCs: airway, breathing, circulation, how to put a fucking Band-Aid on. And they justify it in, when I took it, it was 40 hours of education, right?
Sure.
Now it's 180 hours, and they're teaching you more advanced care, but you're still not allowed to do it. But they're teaching you. And basically an emergency medical technician or an EMT is to support the paramedic, because the paramedic is the highest, besides that too. I did a lot of that, and you know what, I have to say, it was the most exciting part of the job, one way at most times, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, fucker, I'm going through the red light and you're sitting there. I mean, at first I had that mentality, because everybody would have that mentality that has never driven an emergency vehicle. But back to my point, education and the intern that you have to do and the sacrifice you're making correlates to it all circles back around the ping pong, as we were talking about earlier, circles back to your education. And you know, if we want to go back to farming and stuff like that, the education that you are indoctrinating yourself with at some point could make it profitable. If that makes, as I said, I know I'm ping ponging, but I want to correlate it to real life, right? I mean, you can make money off of growing vegetables. I mean, it's been proven for the last 1,000 years.
Well,
I'm using that as a semantic, right?
But in fairness to Asvarun, we're judging his situation from 50,000 feet. I heard the man describe things, and like I said, I saw China, and I went, "Wow, these are people held down. They're not allowed to have those mindsets." Now, the people in Singapore were allowed to have those mindset. It was a very aspirational country. It was very clean. It was very profitable, and it's still one of the tech darlings of the Asia.
Sure. Well, Fourth Wise Man says, I run my farm too, beef and vegetable produce, plus worm farms. I recently finished a soil microbiology degree because I wanted to develop deeper in the biometric of life itself. And it fits the farm needed or farm needs also. Asvarum, your thoughts?
Well, like I said, if he's done it, actually, like, it's good for him. But what about us? Like, how will we actually? There are so many people over here who aren't even educated. Like, how will they be able to get the money to go to college and learn this? For us, it's for most of the people, what Fourth Wise Man did is like a miracle, actually. For us, it's that bad.
Well, I mean, our assets, I know I can't compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges because your situation obviously is much more, may I say, grotesque than ours here. I mean nothing by that term. It's a personal opinion. However, we as Americans have a better opportunity or an opportunistic ability.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Correct.
Would you agree?
Definitely. That's what I'm saying. The thing is, you're in a very good position. People have underestimated how race and that's why I come back to this. Race and IQ plays a very important role. See, like they say, socialism is bad for economic growth. I agree that it's bad for economic growth, but still, the people who were running the Soviet Union were whites. They created fantastic innovations despite being socialists. So, race and IQ will definitely have a lot to do with this. What you eat actually will develop your brain. Over here, people aren't they're not actually like well fed as well. If they get 2 square meals a day only, they'll be very happy. So is she saying
no, she's a very, very intelligent, bright young girl, and you know, sometimes we have to adapt and overcome the childish, you know, behavior, and it's okay. Go ahead, Asvarum. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So basically, I feel race and IQ definitely has an important role to play in this, and the ones who are productive as a race on the whole have been able to establish and create better institutions than the ones who are who don't have that ability. Like I made that clear comparison. Africa, it has all the resources that anyone could ever dream of having, yet they're behind Europe in many ways. They should have actually been above Europe. So the kind of situation Fourth Wise Man is describing, it's like a miracle if it happens over here. It will happen to only a few set of people, not to most of the people. it's difficult to create a uniformly prosperous society in every aspect of this globe, actually.
Well, you had said something earlier that kind of intrigued me, and I was thinking about it, and you know, you had said something that you are very suspicious of maybe outside foods and the preparation in your country. That was you that said that, correct?
Yeah.
What would, other than political motivation, right? What would or why would your culture want to poison the fruit? And what benefit, what actual benefit would it have to poison the fruit or poison the food, other than maybe a political motivation or a political motive?
I told you, right? The Indians, they've become blinded today by money, sex, and power, and they'll do anything for that. So they're so blinded and they're so greedy by it, they have failed to take into consideration the long-term effects of what they're doing. It is a failed society, actually, India today. You should go and see a person called Jayant Bhandari, JAYANTBANDARI. That's his name on India. He does an excellent expose. He excellently exposes all the shortcomings of the nation, how it's a failed state, everything. He's given it clearly, and why he got disgusted with the country and left to the US. So please go and see his videos, Jayant Bhandari, and see what all he's given about how India as a society operates, how it's a failed society, how corruption has seeped into every sector of the country, and you'll get a very good understanding of Indian society if you see his videos. So
I don't mind doing that, because I'm actually very interested, just given my Hindi friends or Indian friends. I know there are many different cultures of Indian, or I apologize, I don't know how to describe it intelligently, but I know there is a very big shift, and they've described it in no uncertain terms, right? That every political term is a complete and total ass backwards, it's going in reverse instead of moving forward to new ideas. I that's what I take from it. Most Indian cultures want to go to the old way of life, the real socialist dictator, like a communist society. That's what I took from it. I could be wrong, but that's what I took away.
Not communism, predating communism, before colonial rule and before the Islamic rule, we had our own way of life. We had the 4 castes. That means if you were a scientist or a judge, or if you wanted to be a priest, you could go into that hierarchy, the Brahmin class. Then if you were a warrior doing difficult tasks, you could become a firefighter or a policeman or an army man. If you were into business, you became a Vaishya. Shudras, they served the rest of the people in the society. And they had a king over there on top, actually. And somehow they would use religion to dictate terms to them as well on how to live their life. That is the kind of society they actually want to go back to.
Well, let's explore that for a second, like societal change. I mean, it seems like, and Neil, you could probably say this. Every administration that we have here is a very societal shift or a societal change.
Sure.
I mean, let's go to the administration, Biden versus Trump, right? Mm-hmm. Society shifted. Okay, from maybe a democratic socialist ideology or libertarian to conservative. I see that in other cultures. It all depends who is holding the hierarchy, if you will. Do you see that over there as well, Asbaru?
What? Oh,
Yeah, definitely. Actually, over here for a long time, Congress ruled.
I'll come right back to you.
Any other question?
Go ahead, Asbaru.
Yeah. Over here, Congress as a party ruled. They're like the Democrats of India. They had a lot of liberal policies and they were into socialism. And for 40 to 50 years, we only saw stagnation. So after the Congress power was thrown out of power somewhere in 98. From then onwards, BJP came to power, and they're more like the Republicans actually. But they're like Republicans in their own way. Yeah. They're like they want more private ownership.
Weird. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That is just weird to hear that. To hear it. So basically, it's like Canada that is backwards from what U.S. politics would be.
Yeah. Correct.
Well, it's also changing faster and faster, isn't it, Varun?
Yeah. Is it okay if I can have a glass of water? I'm just
no. Go ahead. Take your time.
You're the show, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Neil, I mean, obviously, I am pretty well versed in American politics, but it's very interesting to hear, different societies or different countries. It's intriguing to me, which makes me want to sit here all night and just say, what the fuck, right? I mean,
yeah.
If you really look at it. Oh, hold on one second.
Yeah, no, I've got you, and I'm following where you're going. I mean, being in 20-something different countries, I just stopped being surprised anymore because I was used to things not being like they were here.
Well, I mean, let's focus a minute on American politics and American societal changes. Trump right now is, I mean, Asbaru, I know you know exactly what I'm probably going to say. Trump man's bad. Orange man's bad. No matter what. And I'm sorry, Santa. I have to. Our special guest is about to come in, and I'm just getting him links and stuff.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I completely lost it.
You're all discombobulated. I got it.
Right. This goes to my newfound home of America Rising Media. So I'm like completely mind blown and mind fucked right now. Anyway,
well, I've got a mind blown for you before you start your premise.
Sure, go ahead.
You want to hear about mind blown? It's when I was on the island of Koh Phuket and I saw humans cutting grass with scissors.
Really?
Humans cutting grass with scissors because it was cheaper to buy them than a lawnmower.
Well, I mean, that would go to the whole premise of orange man spending money, left man spending money, but he's supposedly or societally saying they're not. I mean, do you understand my semantic or my ping pong there?
I don't yet. I'm trying to follow. I'm sorry.
So Trump right now is spending $2 billion a day to support Israel, right? But Joe Biden left billions and trillions of dollars of militaria in a place that it would have cost less, or it didn't cost anything to leave it there. But why would you want to give militaria to a country?
I'm being asked.
Why would you leave billions and trillions of dollars of militaria to a country that's going to use it against you?
Some might not think it was an accident.
I would think it may not be an accident.
That's a big foobar.
Well, a foobar is an understatement. I mean,
and nobody was fired.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I'm sure Asbarum, you could probably say that your government does some stupid shit at times.
Yeah, definitely. Most of the time.
Most of the time. Most of the time. I like that answer. I mean, you've got a conflict or a war, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I'm not going to dance with the semantics of it, right? But you've got a conflict where we are spending $2 billion a day to support another country, which some people say it's to stay in bed with Israel.
Tiny hat people?
Sir?
Some say tiny hat people?
Yes.
Okay.
And some would
The term
say
is Mad Hatters.
Mad Hatters,
I
yes.
stand corrected.
But some people would say, or would allude to say, that it is going to help the United States in the long run. So the price that we are paying is to keep us free in a roundabout way, which I agree with both sides. But in other Asbarum, I don't know how much you pay attention to news over there. What does your culture say about the conflict in Israel that the United States is in?
I wanted to say this. This will be a bit crazy. I hope nothing happens to this video if I say this.
Nope.
But what I want to say is actually Israel is a failed state. Because what they've done is they've blown all their money on warfare. They've not invested much in infrastructure development. There are many slums in Israel. They have not invested heavily in education also. They only spread hatred actually. So it's like a dump Israel. It's only hype to some extent. So what's happened is that there are ultra orthodox Jews. They're forbidden from learning math, science, medicine. They're forbidden from doing anything except for reading the Torah and becoming like priests. So basically, even if you're injured in Israel as a soldier, getting good medical facilities is very difficult. So you have PTSD and you are taught to hate and you've been fighting wars that are useless. So what's the point in living actually? Like Israel is a completely failed state and Benjamin Netanyahu can't even hide that fact anymore. He's been fighting wars for so long that the country is toast in the inside actually. Many Israelis are leaving Israel because they themselves find it hopeless to live in a country that's always engaged in some kind of a conflict or the other. Evangelical Christians, because of their superstitious beliefs, think that the second coming of Christ will be necessary it will be necessary if we can support Israel to help the second coming of Christ. So they are actually like misguided by their religious beliefs. But in reality, if you want to see it, Israel is a failed state, to be honest. The media has done everything to hide it, but the quality of medical health care that's being provided to them is bad. Even their education is actually becoming bad. Many teachers are quitting actually. The soldiers have PTSD and they don't have good medical treatment as well. Benjamin Netanyahu has not invested properly even in infrastructure, only in developing a war machine that's ruined this country, to be honest. It's not doing well actually. They say Israel is doing well, it's a tech hub and whatnot. It's actually a cover up actually. It's sugarcoating the truth.
Well, I mean, we all know, we truthfully all know that the truth has its own versions. We look at maybe one news station and say, okay, well, they're saying this, and then we look at another news station and they're saying this. And you know, I use this analogy when I'm getting ready for a show or something like that. I put two news stations on. I split my screen, and I'll play typically the same video or something to that effect on the same topic, and they greatly differ. And you know, the complete divide, that's where the complete divide. Good night, Sarah. Thank you for coming in. Sarah is leaving the chat, so good night, Sarah. Sleep well. You know, that's where the divide starts, at the beginning of the topic. Go ahead, Santa.
Well, in that, did you read the military analysis? There are two generals, I don't recall their names right now, who were talking about the military defeat and complete routing of 120,000 IDF forces.
Hold on one second there, Santa. My friend, I have been waiting for this frickin' day for a long time.
Well, that's Sean, you guys starting out, right?
Sean, good to see you, my friend.
Hey, guys. Hey.
Meet our panel. We have Azvarun. He is from India. He's currently in India. We have Salty Santa and his magical elf. He is from Oregon. We have my security, which I'm sure you've seen in the America Rising chat multiple times. And Toasty Man Bad. We are talking about the divide between the left and the right. And this is the perfect subject for you to be here on, sir. Okay. What say you, sir?
Well, I think it might be better if I hear what you guys are talking about first.
Sure.
Or debating first.
Sure. We are debating the actual simple divide, if you will, between libtardia and conservatorship.
Does that mean I'm on libtardia, this panel?
Yes, that means you're on libtardia because, sir, you have now met your match.
Yeah. Okay.
No, okay. I want to hear the arguments.
No, well, the last prompt was about, you know, Spin was saying that he likes to prepare by looking at different news articles on different channels. And the last prompt I asked him was, did you see the coverage by there are at least two generals who did it, who said the IDF was outmanned, outgunned, outsmarted, outmaneuvered, and 120,000 IDF soldiers are left battlefield ineffective. Because I heard Spin say that things aren't going as bad as some say. Okay, that seems pretty bad. So what say you, Spin? Or Sean?
Go ahead, Spin.
Sean, I'm gonna defer this one to you, and I will bring the tail end of the prompt.
All right, so the argument here is that you heard somewhere, some mainstream media platform espousing that the IDF.
No.
What?
These are different generals I've followed over the years that also happen to have YouTube channels. I'll see if I can't look at my history to find.
Can I take a guess at one of them?
Sure.
Would one of them? Oh my gosh, what's his name? Oh shit!
He wasn't a SEAL. Either one of them.
No, his name is escaping me all of a sudden.
All right.
There's one I used to follow. Okay, so do you take their word for it?
No, that's why I listened to several of them.
Well, bravo for that.
I was an operations specialist in the first Gulf War, so this was my job.
Okay.
And so thank you as well. No, I mean, you hear a voice, it's an opinion. You hear a lot of voices, you have a mob. There are things that you can test against it. I just hadn't. I was only against the assertion that things aren't going as bad as they thought. And then I asked, have you heard of this? I'm not asserting that things are going poorly. but 120,000 seems like an awful lot out of the IDF, and I assume they would be closer to Beirut.
I think there's I think there's a lot of propaganda out there, and I listen,
Sure.
especially when it comes to military. All right, so if there's one thing that I'm a firm believer in, that there's FBI, Kash Patel the other day, I'm sorry, it was Bongino confirmed the other day that there was 2 different FBIs. You got your FBI that are freedom loving, patriotic. They went in there with intentions to do the right thing, and then you got your deep entrenched in your fortified and entrenched, your bad actors, if you will, that are either self-serving or they're serving some other agenda, right? You got the Comey book, which was titled The Higher Loyalty, which I find interesting. You know, who is that higher loyalty? Read that book. Are you familiar with Sidney Powell? I read her book.
It sounds familiar but vague to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I was once a registered Democrat as well. I don't like to associate with any of that stuff. Right, left, binary paradigm, right? They only give you 2 options. Nah, I'm not messing around with that. I'm going to be me, pro-American, period. You know what I mean? There's going to be corruption on all sides. Now, why I become a Trump supporter is because he strikes me as the bull in the china shop that is disrupting what I definitely see as a globalist agenda to destabilize America from within, using infiltration because they don't want to. Good luck, boots on the ground. China said it. There's a gun behind every blade of grass. Good luck with that. They're not going to do that, right? So what would be the best way to destabilize America from within? Marxism is a great method of doing it, right? Let's start convincing boys that they can be girls, girls can be boys, right? Let's start emasculating men. That's just one of many, right? Let's stop poisoning the food. Spread propaganda, all sorts of propaganda. Sure. Let's destroy Americans' trust and faith in government, which what I'm seeing today is Trump bringing back trust and faith in government. How is he doing this? Through transparency. I can see how a lot of people would say, Trump bringing transparency, you out of your mind? I've heard it. Trust me. But if you or anybody who's done any objective research, say prior to 2 years ago, the previous term, good luck on finding, open source information. Okay. Let's take Epstein, for instance. Name me one other president or any other administration that has ever led to the capture of and the arrest of Epstein and or Ghislaine Maxwell, or the whole network that they were involved with. Nobody.
Okay. May I pause you?
Yeah.
I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I think, the government can kiss my ass. And I earned that right. And, my 9th grandfather fought in the revolution. So anybody can kiss my ass if they don't like that. We fought all the goddamn wars. So my opinion has been earned.
Yeah.
Now, secondarily, I don't disagree with leftist agenda with taking down the United States. I might even agree with something you didn't say, or I didn't hear you say, which was that the globalist agenda cannot proceed unless the United States is taken out, because individually the United States has the resources to sustain a lot of shit for a lot of time. Hold on, we're saving a Gosling. Yes.
Should I put this over there?
I have to step in for 1 second, Neil, and I have to say, I would never see where the United States could be overtaken in this day and age. Now, maybe 100 years ago, it might be possible, but it has been proven time and time again that you fuck around and find out the United States is going to kick your ass.
Well, I mean, I think all of these wars, proxy of a proxy war and everything, nobody is really as big and bad as we thought. Okay, I'm on here. Yeah, okay. And then, so nobody's as big as bad or whatever they thought until you get to nuclear weapons. Then the game has certainly changed. So are certain people willing to do that? I would not find it out of reason that different groups, isolated and cornered, would feel that strategy as their own. So when you're talking, Sean, about, okay, they want to take down the U.S., I don't even really have a disagreement with you. And I've been a little bit more, I don't know if coy is the word, but I see the division. There are people who have intentionally added a lot of division and divisiveness in our country. And some of them read the Anarchist Handbook, and some of them followed different people. And so when you look at these things, it's hard to see where they're not true.
All right. So are you familiar with the Democratic Socialists of America?
Yes.
And are you familiar with the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, the LCCHR?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so which under it has, and please don't ever just blindly take any word I'm saying. I try my best not to state my opinions as fact, but under the LCCHR has an umbrella of over 240 plus NGOs, one of which is the SPLC, which we just saw that indictment, another ACLU, ADL, Brookings, etc. All of these NGOs, what I'm finding, have been funding race relations, race baiting.
Yeah, racial tensions, sure.
Right. So I think there's contributors, but I think that's outside funding. Now look at an individual like Neville Roy Singham, right? Who is I would encourage you to look him up. He is behind the Tide Center. That Tide Center is also what's propping up, and I just talked about this on my show. It's propping up another NGO called World Without Exploitation. Who is World Without Exploitation? They have all the so-called victims that were standing behind Pam Bondi at that hearing. The Epstein, so-called Epstein. I hate saying that because what if they were real victims? But the fact that what I'm discovering that they're not real victims and that they were actually contributing to any trafficking, if not doing it themselves, they're being propped up by the Tide Center. They're being funded by the Tide Center, which is Neville Roy Singham, who is like another George Soros type, right? So these are foreign components. This is what I see as the globalists' attempts to destabilize America by Tide Center is what funded the No Kings protests as well. So what the hell does Tide Center and No Kings protests have to do with Epstein? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is all much bigger, right?
Okay, so may I ask you a question?
Please.
So if Trump's the solution, why not talk about the solution and stop, calling people cunts?
That was a great question, actually. I commend you for that. No, that's perfect. Well, look, they've been trying to kill him. I think that's, at this point, is pretty indisputable.
What are we at, 6 now?
Yeah, 1 today, I think, right? I've been following this for a while. I think it's more than that. I think it goes back to Whidbey Island in this first administration. Go ahead, Spin.
The one today, and I got some more information, and I'm sure you've looked from earlier,
really.
Right? Okay. It was a gentleman that was in a lot of people's opinion, a radical, that Orange Man bad politics. He needs to get out, along with the gentleman that is still to this hour, Sean, still on top of the bridge with his black negligee.
I tried having Ash reach out to him. I wanted to get him on the program. I wanted to talk to him.
I'll put it to you this way. I have his X handle. I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
He has yet to respond to me,
Yeah.
but hey, okay. But it goes back to, we just had one today where his mission was to fire, if you will, on the White House or the vice president. And it just so happens that it was timed so well that Vice President Vance's motorcade had just went through this area.
That was wasn't that a different situation? Wasn't that the shots fired at the White House? I'm sorry, the DC monument.
Yes.
And then there was one at the White House as well, right? So there's
Sure.
two of them today, if I'm not mistaken. I might be misunderstood here.
No. I've heard of one, and then I heard of the second one, but I couldn't confirm it, so
Okay.
I didn't put it on the other system.
Okay, now
Right.
you guys are asking me to reason. I'll just ask you: is it outside of reason that a former TV star might have played up some of these events, even false flagging events?
Actually, I was gonna kind of pick at that a little bit because I thought hello Sean, by the way, nice to meet you. My name is Toasty.
Yeah, likewise, Toasty.
I actually wanted to kind of go in on something that you had kind of touched over a little bit in regards to the Epstein files, and I think that links perfectly up with what Santa was saying. Do you the vantage point and the view thing that I had caught in there was the victims. What do you guys think the odds are of the victims themselves being actors? That I thought that I thought that was such a interesting point of view, and I wanted to go in on that a little bit with you, Sean. Why do you think that they might be actors?
It's more than what I think. I would just encourage you to look into their individual backgrounds. One of them, Liz Stein. See if I can recollect her past. Let me start by saying this. What I found interesting, this is what I was just talking about on my show, was regarding Epstein. I'm going back to the ABC, and I literally just talking about this, but that ABC so-called hot mic moment where she was talking about, oh, we had the world's most prolific pedophile and his number one accuser, Virginia Giuffre, and we blew it, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking back at that now, and I'm like, holy crap. I think this was all propaganda. This was all a show or something, because if you actually go back through Epstein himself, his cases, there's one case, okay? One case where you could, I guess, call him a pedophile, okay? And that one case goes back to the late 90s. One charge, that's it. He did time, or so-called time. That's where he got the so-called sweetheart deal.
Camp Cupcake.
Yeah, he was, it was with a 16-year-old. He was in his early 30s, almost 30 or something, relatively young, but he was double her age. Am I saying I agree with this? No, not even a little bit. However, in the state of New Mexico, do you guys know what the age of consent is?
I don't know. It is in New Mexico.
It's 16. It's 16.
Okay.
Her mother is the one who made the claim against Jeffrey Epstein. That is the title, okay? That is what has stuck with him as being deemed the world's most prolific pedophile. What are you talking about? He's never been charged. Well, Sean, he was about to be charged until Epstein didn't kill himself. Well,
Right.
isn't that convenient? So my
Right.
point is the overall point all I'm saying here is what that tells me is that this Epstein thing isn't what I initially thought it was. And by saying this, I'm just showing people that, look, I don't stay married to a narrative, right?
Sure.
The part of getting red pilled, if you believe in the notion of being red pilled, and I respect if some people don't, okay? Which I do. If you do, and I was just discussing this as well, what you've done is you've realized everything's bullshit. just as Salty Santa has realized, right? And I totally respect this. This is something that a lot of people don't think of with vets getting red pilled. They have to come to terms with they just watched a lot of their friends,
Right.
fellow vets die for reasons they shouldn't have died for. So we need to have more empathy when it comes to vets. This is why I will always respect what our vets. Now, with that said, when we realize that we're with getting red pilled, the notion of it, what you've done, you realize everything's bullshit. So what you've done is you created a void, right? An emptiness. But we haven't filled the answers. We haven't filled that void with answers yet. Sometimes, a lot of times, we will subconsciously fill it with what we think are the answers. Epstein, this was a big trafficking operation that was trafficking children, satanic ritual abuse. Well, what happens when you see information that challenges that? Do you dig your heels in further, or
gets break? I'm gonna go real quick, and then I'll kick it over to you, Santa. Do you think Donald Trump is in on it?
In on what?
Do you think he's also playing the actor of the bad guy?
Nope.
Do you think there's a collaboration between him and the Democrat Party, because he used to previously be a Democrat?
I think it's irrelevant.
Okay.
That's
Go
just
ahead,
my
Santa.
opinion.
We're going to go to Santa, and then we'll go to Asvaroom. Go ahead, Santa.
So again, having read intelligence, I, from reliable sources, I found that the most reliable thing that I could do to find out information about the area that I was at, and this was at that time, not saying it's this time any longer, was the BBC gave me better information than I would listen to American broadcast. And this was 90. This was the first Gulf War. So I'm not even suggesting that that's still true. Now, what that teaches me is, okay, I like the red pill, blue pill, blah, blah, blah. But even if someone's hearing you on these allegations and says, that's sounds more true than false, does that inoculate, I don't want to say your side, I don't know how to say it otherwise though,
Go ahead.
those of your perspective from being just as full of shit? Because you're revealing new information and everything you're saying could be true. And then there's still forces that could be acting on the conservative side that are doing just as much. I mean, I was born in 70, raised by a hippie. The ELF kind of stuff sticks in my head. These early counter-revolutionary movements. And so I think sometimes life ain't so simple. Now, what is the conservative side doing to maintain its own perspectives? I'm not saying Trump's evil. I'm not trying to say he's good. Everything you're saying is true. I'm like, yeah, this is counterinsurgency. This is misinformation, disinformation with false flags. What do we do then?
Because we live in, if you want my opinion, we live in a totally different day and age. We don't live in what's going on today. I don't think, if you wanted to reference history, then you might have to go back a little bit further in the way I see it. If I were to apply it to today, like wars or the notion of false flags, which I totally believe in, by the way.
Well, I'm for any war where all the senators and congressmen's kids go first.
So, all right, the military operations that I'm seeing going on today, I don't personally see as your typical war. What I see it as is the war to end all wars.
Some do.
What do I mean by that? And I think you have to go deeper. You can't rely on mainstream resources.
Oh, I don't even watch that. I'm well read though. I'll tell you if I don't know something.
So if you know anything about Contra networks, like
Sure.
the Iran Contra, which I'm sure you're pretty relatively savvy with. Contra networks. Kind of what I've come across in my research is there's an umbrella. What I visualize is an umbrella, and under this umbrella, I call the umbrella the Contra networks. And under this umbrella, what I see are cartel, almost all cartel. I see almost all terrorist networks. Hezbollah, Hamas, I call them Hamas, Muslim Brotherhood, the list goes on. I put on gangs, organized gangs, mafioso. Why do I do that? So we really to believe that Mexico, which just borders, southern border, the entire southern border has been run by cartels our entire lives. It's never been run by an actual government, and we've just kind of let it be run by cartels. Meanwhile, we send over Americans to shed blood to the Middle East to fight terrorists. Well, what's the cartel network? Aren't they terrorists? Narco? I don't know about you guys. Any of you guys have any friends died from fentanyl? I work with people in recovery every week.
Sure.
I have more friends that have died from fentanyl or opiate overdose than anything else, more than cancer. And it affects every family, I would argue. So why hasn't anybody ever done anything about this? Have we just been conditioned to think this is normal? We are so easily programmable, easily conditioned to think things like this is just normal or natural. It's not, I don't think.
Sure.
But Contra networks. So how can I prove this? There's indicators, okay? When Trump first started this second term, who was the first target? Was Iran? That, what did he call it? Operation
Epic Fury.
Epic Fury.
It was. Yeah.
Or whatever. Bunker buster. So
right.
And then he went from that to took out Maduro. Oh, well, if you know anything about Maduro, who was being guarded by Cuban nationals, by the way, that was his security force. Well, what's Cuba? Communist country, right? And Maduro is arguably directing a lot of the narco. Look at an island off the coast of Venezuela called Margarita Island. What were they doing on this island? What I learned was that they were training Hezbollah, Hamas, and IRGC. We're sending them there, right?
Sure.
Training facility to train terrorists to ship to our shores.
And
then now think about all the boats that are being
Israel Mossad. It's not true. It's not true.
What?
From Israel and Mossad, because this war doesn't benefit anyone but Israel. That's what it just comes down to.
I mean, that's an all right opinion. I don't know if I would state
Not
that
really an opinion.
as
Yes, who wants this war? No one, except for the small hats. Small hats want the war. It's just simple.
Again, that's a nice opinion, but
it's not an opinion. It's a fact. It's a fact. It's a fact. There's nothing you can do about it.
That's subjective. How can
It's
you
not
say
subjective. You're not fooling anyone.
Do you know the difference between an opinion and a fact?
Yes, I do. It's just like primary school. Everyone knows that difference.
So I'm assuming you don't know anything about Contra networks.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Okay.
Everyone knows. No one's a boomer anymore. Only boomers don't know. They think that they make up these stupid stories. Now look at the Twitter and other stuff.
More opinions.
Yeah, it's just the small hats. It's just the small hats.
It's just the small hats?
Yeah, it's the small hats.
You don't think that's intellectually lazy or simple-minded?
No, it's not simple-minded. It's just, Bibi wants it. And, that's what it is. How does it benefit America? Because America, it has a lot of other expenses it has to deal with.
I just went through a whole list of how it benefits America. Heroin is non-existent. Fentanyl, which crushing the fentanyl epidemic right now. How do I know this? Because I see it every week. I talk to people every week on this. But I'm still not even going to state that as fact because that is my opinion. If we want to be
Israel
accurate,
is
let's
the
be
number one
accurate.
sponsor of terrorism. It's not Iran. Iran is, Iran fought ISIS. They fought Al Nusra. They fought the White Helmets.
Are you sure they didn't provide ISIS? Are you sure they didn't provide Hezbollah?
ISIS attacked Israel and then they apologized to Israel. I mean, you can't hide this stuff. All the boomers, they keep spreading CNN and Fox.
Well, first
News
of all, I'm not a
propaganda.
boomer, but
You're.
So
I don't know what you.
I'm just an American. I'm a freedom loving
That is just
American.
an
I try to be as objective as possible, but can we stick to current times right now? Like right now, like what makes you think that Iran?
It's pronounced Iran.
I'm gonna call it Iran.
Yeah, you can call it whatever you want. If you're gonna call it Iran, then I'm not gonna talk to.
All right, let me ask you a question. Do you think there's a difference between Do you think there's a difference?
Pronounce the name correctly. It's Iran.
Did you say small hat like me? I'm Syrian, right? Where'd he go?
He rage quit. That's what we call rage quitting.
Oh.
Sean.
What I would ask him is, does he know the difference between the Iranian military and the IRGC? Does he know who's funding the IRGC? Does he know that the current Khomeini is actually living in the city of London, known as Billionaires Row?
I knew, Sean, I knew where you were going with that, my friend, but we now have 1 versus 0.
Can we bring more? I want more of that.
Oh yes. Azbaroom, you have been waiting.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Azbaroom, please take the floor.
No. I needed to go right now. I have some work. Yeah. So I'll catch up next time when I come. Thank you for having me on your show, Spin City.
No problem, Azbaroom. Thank you. It's very good to see you. And many blessings to your family, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
you're welcome. Would anybody like to come up here and debate Sean and I?
Yeah, I just heard Sean lay out why other than Orange Man were bad. And that's fine.
That's the point. and Sean and I pretty much align in the same category. And I needed to give Sean and dumbass a speed date for a second because I knew exactly what was going to happen, and it's funny. So, Salty Santa, this is your challenge.
Okay.
Bring a topic, and Sean and I are going to debate you.
I much prefer the respectable version, by the way. And Salty Santa, I commend you for your approach. You seem a lot more objective, which I would much prefer objectivity than subjectivity, which that guy was just subjective.
Is that your opinion, objectively or subjectively?
That's my preference.
Okay, well, your preference is denied, sir. No, joking.
A lot to learn.
Santa, what? What now?
I said Sean's got a lot to learn.
Oh Lord! Oh.
Thanks for putting that on me.
Yeah, well, sir, we are either going to school you or we're going to rage quit.
Well, that's
Santa,
cool.
Go ahead, sir.
Well, I think it's fair to say where I come from.
Oh, we know where you come from. Oregon.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, I live in Oregon. That's true.
I'm sorry.
And, I've taken those tests, whether you're left or right or libertarian or whatever. My little sub thing says a Taoist workman approved. A Taoist. So everybody likes to go, oh, that's like Buddhist. Not really. And so I don't have a side. you know, I have an opinion. I think about these people who go into war, or people on both sides who think that war's a solution when they don't have the cost. I mean, it's no different than NIMBY. It's no different than fucking Greenpeace saying we shouldn't have, you know, nuclear power, and then the fucking world is saying we've got to do carbon at the same time, so the poorest people are the only ones fucking shafted. All I'm saying is that both sides have some pretty shitty ideas.
So do you see that? Sorry, Spin, go ahead.
Nope, Sean, you go first.
All right, so now when I look back at this whole carbon thing, when I hear this, I'm like, holy crap, they just want to tax us breathing, right?
Yeah.
So what I see, this is again, I'm espousing what I see. So homeboy can espouse tiny hat all he wants, but listen,
I do on occasion, you know.
If you can reconcile, or if you can acknowledge that there's an agenda out there to enslave humanity, okay, and whatever method they want to impose this communism, which I think we all agree communism is essentially an economic means of enslavement, or not enslavement, but it's an economic ideology, right?
Economic ideology.
Yeah. Right. And so then Marxist, you got the social Marxism, right?
Right.
So if you can acknowledge, in my opinion, if you can acknowledge that those basic core tenets are being used on America currently, right now, to destabilize America so that they can implement their one world everything. If you can all agree that that's taking place, that there's outside forces that are trying to accomplish that, then we're already ahead of the game. And I think that's a great starting point.
My solution is radical enough it would make your eyes blush.
I doubt that, but go ahead and try.
Your solution?
Yeah.
Your solution to combating a globalist attempt to destabilize America, right?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Yep.
It's really simple. We need to rebuild our communities. We need to stop taking extra community involvement. We need to eliminate the same monies that are in politics now, because the special interests are the ones who wag the dog. They start the wars. They have their special interests for the small minerals and really fucked up places where my buddies were guarding the fucking poppy seeds, among other products. I mean, you know, leaving all that weaponry behind in Afghanistan. All these things, I mean, no one gets in trouble anymore. No one's held accountable anymore.
You sure about that?
Well, who owns Silicon Valley,
and I think that it's
hold on there, Nero. We'll get you back up there. Sean, your nemesis is back. So, Nero, give me a few minutes. Let's get through this topic, and we will get you back up there. Go ahead, Santa.
Yeah, sorry, I was derailed. I think that on the Iraqis too. But when we go back to what it was, when we're not a culture who's celebrating the victimhood of anyone. I mean, we look back at the historical things that went on. We have the courage to say Abraham Lincoln didn't give a fuck about the slaves. He wanted to keep the Union together. He said so. And it was that Congress that fucked up when the general went through 40 acres and a slave, and he took that away. There have been these things. There have been the things. 1979, the Indians first got freedom of religion. Then Clinton had to do something there. But at some point, we need to stop having this reparations talk. We need to stop having this, you know, whatever. If you don't fucking like it, you're free to leave. And my bloodline, it being Cherokee, has every fucking right to say that. And my service and my family's service has earned the right to say that. It's only an opinion, but nobody gets to take it away because they're in the hardship Olympics or something. I'm tired of that shit. And when
but what would be your thought on, I mean, given your heritage and your Cherokee, right? what are your thoughts on the premise of stolen land? Are we on stolen land?
Don't trust Whitey. Now, I'll be honest. My particular family, part of the family was marched on the Trail of Tears, and it wasn't a goddamn, whatever the cruise line tour thing. I've heard people say, oh, they were paid. Some of them were paid. Let's not say all of them. All of them weren't paid. The ones that accepted the money, they got to go first. The other ones got hauled out. That's why the Army had to come, and the Army tried to come and get my Cherokees, and they came to our Scots-Irish, and the Scots-Irish said, fuck off, and the Army fucked off.
Yeah, but the Cherokees inevitably lost the war.
Yeah, so what?
So
you asked me for the solution. No. You asked me for the solution. The solution is you don't quit
with your own semantics.
You're red pilling people, and that's awesome. But people can't have this mindset like this is a 5-year situation.
What?
This is not a 5-year situation.
I agree with that.
To go into the shitter. We allowed other people. We got our 90s little broskies and all their fucking greed is good and all this shit, and we sucked it up like a whore.
So I don't think it's going to be. If you want my opinion, say it, and I appreciate that. At least you're interested in. You know what? I always say a lot of times it's easy to highlight all the problems in the world. But if you don't offer up ideas for solutions, then I would argue you're not interested in solutions. So I commend you for at least being interested in solutions.
Sure,
but that said,
yeah,
if you want my, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as people are more at working as communities again and not trying to separate and allowing other people to fractionalize us.
Yeah. Yep.
The majority of people are good people. I've been across this fucking country 4 or 5 times, and I've never had any problems with anybody but a white biker. Imagine that while I was wearing a fucking leather.
Yeah.
So that's it.
I agree with everything you just said, but I got to challenge you just a little bit. And what I would say respectably is I don't think it's that simple. And I think because if there's one thing I've learned in this journey of mine, and it's been a hell of a journey, is that it's nothing is really ever that simple. And AI, for instance, what I just learned today blew my mind about AI. Oh my God. Look into Anthropic. Holy cow. Trump, us receiving Trump at this specific time, guys, I don't know. We would have been screwed. I mean, royally screwed. Anthropic. So, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Just to reply back, I would counter what you said, and that isn't the solution. The French didn't hold on throughout the German, overtaking and fucking their country over and over again with specific stuff. People need to have a general ethos. They need, just going back to where we're not skull fucking each other is progress.
All right.
And we don't allow. So you said, well, these Marxists are coming in. Okay, whoop their ass.
Well, they're trying to get the children. This is why institutions like Turning Point USA has been integral, because that's been the only institution that's been effectively combating the indoctrination of our youth. But I would argue, if you really want to understand the 40,000-foot view of the best, you got to understand all 3 sides of the triangle. What are all 3 sides of the triangle? In my opinion, the way I see it, the power structures, okay, the economy. Who is at the vertices? You got DC bottom. You got the Vatican. Well, DC is the military. Okay, so why do we police the world? Because we do. They've used us to police the world.
I love you, and I agree. I was teaching my kids that 20 years ago.
Yeah, and then
you're going to red pill me.
And then on the bottom right, you got the Vatican. What do they provide? Societal norms and values, right?
And real estate.
And then you have at the very tippy top, you have the city of London, the way I see it.
The only 3 sovereign places in the world.
That's right. So, City of London, that's global economy. They manipulate global economy, and you got to include Brussels in on that somewhere on that.
Sure.
But and so when I have been digging into the City of London, their influence with the IRGC, okay,
Right.
which not to be confused with the Iranian military or Iranian army or anything like that, because it's totally separate. Way I see it, it's a proxy army for the City of London to manipulate and to train Hezbollah, Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas, all of them.
I'm totally with you. We don't even have the disagreement yet because these privately funded armies have been causing the fucking trouble since the 1700s.
Yes.
So hit me with some new stuff.
So well, it's not just about you and I, because again, it's always about those watching. That's my target. That's who I want to affect. That's who I want to help understand the bigger picture more, because that is my solution. And I think that's one of Trump's solutions too, is more education. Give them enough rope to hang themselves. There's so many groups and subgroups of MAGA, of even the left. At some point, we got to be able to bring everybody together. Now, how can we do that without conducting a 9/11 style event? Because that was the last time I ever saw this country really united.
I agree. I rode across the country from San Diego to New York and actually was given a direct, walkthrough with the chief of Rescue One, who was falling apart right with us, going, never forget, never forget. So I never forgot. I assure you, my dreams never fucking forgot. And so all I'm saying, Sean, is I'm not fighting your presentation of these things so far, but it's also like, and what? And we got to make sure that we're watching our six, because the best way to disorganize any kind of movement is from within. Ask the FBI. That's their job.
So can I ask you guys a question about what you're talking about? Because
please.
Yeah. So like, how do you guys feel? Well, 2 questions. One, how do you think religion plays into what you're saying? Because I don't really disagree with your triangle there. But first of all, second of all, how do you think people like Silicon Valley and the banking system plays into it? I think
control mechanisms.
Well, yeah, but people say it's the J's or small hats, and I don't know if that's true or not, but there definitely is like a lot of foreign, like Russian, Eastern Europeans controlling Silicon Valley and Palantir and stuff like this.
Well, you know, the families that funded both sides of the world wars are not a bad place to start.
It's not a place, but they don't sit at the table. You're right. You're not. I don't think you're wrong, but I don't even see the Rothschilds, for instance, sitting at the table.
Didn't they influence American education after?
Yep, that was the Rockefellers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would argue the Pelosi's and the Newscoms and the
you mean her niece or nephew?
Whatever.
They work for the Gettys, but yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is the Soros, the Pelosi's, the Newscoms, and all of the thing that I would call trash, they are the ones that are sitting at the table.
Useful idiots.
I agree, but I would be remiss not to put that into the mix, Sean.
Yeah.
I mean, I would not be hesitant to say the Bezos have some sort of influence or affluence because of the almighty dollar and the banking system that is run by.
I'm more interested
in small influence, though.
Yeah, I agree.
They have a small influence. They won't have a big influence on them.
Yeah, I agree. An influence, but I would argue a small one. The shadow banking is really where the
yeah. And we could also probably throw the almighty crypto dollar, if you will, into a lot of influence or in affluential people.
I would argue that that is being used to track all the bad actors because, by
Or
the way,
destabilize, or it could be to destabilize the global reserve currency.
look, if Trump wasn't having an effect, if he wasn't being successful, do you think they would be trying to take his life?
Well, I mean, I would be remiss to say that possibly some of the assassination attempts could be a direct contributor to the
Look at all the presidents that have been assassinated and everything that they tried to accomplish.
And Sean, that's where I was going with it. Was we had JFK, what I would consider some sort of influence on today's political ideology, if you will. I would be remiss not to say it could probably go back further than JFK.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, a lot of policy that I have seen, and I could be absolutely wrong, and Sean or somebody tell me if I'm wrong, please, is a basis of policy that was tried or was put into legislature that was denied, or what's the college educated word? Debunked, maybe, right?
Discredited,
or discredited. Yes, thank you, Sean.
Would you guys say that the Catholics are at the top of the pyramid, or
Nope. I would say the Catholics are a threat. I didn't used to think this, by the way. This is a newly developed hypothesis because I learned that Barry Soetoro, cough cough, Obama needed the Catholic vote in order to become president. Now they steal elections. I get it, okay, but you still needed to sell it policy to 20%, at least 20% of the Catholics. What does that mean? That means you needed 20% of the principled vote. What is the principle? If you recall, Obama, before he ran for president, was against abortion, was against gay marriages. Why? Because he had to sell it to the Catholics, right? The Vatican, which I did see, the Vatican, I do think that was, they attempted to infiltrate it at one point, and I think we got it back. I think. I'm willing to be wrong about that. Of course.
Yeah.
I would say affluentially.
But well, just really quick, the Catholics wrote like the New Deal, though. Like I would argue that since the time of Lincoln, the Catholics were trying to take over the United States, and so has the British. So like basically,
the British
and the Catholics have been trying to f America over since the beginning, pretty much. As far as
I think they tried to infiltrate the British. Okay, so we're talking all three sides of the triangle, right? You just mentioned it: British, Vatican, and then America. They wanted to ultimately take America, which I would argue we haven't been living under our Constitution our entire lives and longer, at least 100 years. I go back to the late 1800s, 1870s ish. And
I think I would go a little further, more in reverse than that.
Well, just for argument's sake, sure. And if you get into law, real law, the concept of law, what it really means, what real law is, not policy, not rules and codes, not all that nonsense. When you understand that concept, the basic tenets of law, then you realize real quick that we don't live in any semblance of law. Everything is all contract based now. Everything, which is maritime.
So who do you think is setting up? So you're saying that like most of the Islam T-word people are kind of like set up by the city of London.
Yeah.
And but who's writing all the laws to bring endless immigration into the West? Like, is it white people or Christians?
It ain't just the West.
Catholics,
Well, yeah. Well, they're doing it to the EU, Europe. Look, they're allowing it to happen there. And look, Ireland's even being taken over. It's incredible. There are more foreign-born politicians in Ireland than there are actual Irish. That's not an accident.
But if it's the British doing it, why are they doing it to their
It's
own
a
place?
it's
example?
a globalist policy. I think you would have to go back to the Agenda 20. What was it? Agenda 20. I don't even remember what it was called. But who was the woman?
The reconciliation to stop the troubles.
No, there was Agenda 2030, maybe 20.
Well, you're right.
Yeah,
It was Agenda 2030, Sean.
Yeah. There was a woman.
Depopulation.
There was a woman who was in California. I think she worked for the state government, California government. And she was a whistleblower that really talked about this agenda. And she started laying out exactly all the methods with which you're achieving all of this and being successful at the time. I think she passed away. She really platinum blonde hair, if I remember correctly, and it had a funny name. But there's so many other ways you can just listen to them themselves say it. Go back during COVID, and you can hear them all talk about it, right? They were on to use immigration for multiple purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Same with COVID was multiple purposes. Wasn't just one, depopulation. It was also a transfer of wealth, massive transfer of wealth. And not to mention data mining, massive data mining. And like I said, look into Anthropic, you will be shocked. All our military missile guided target systems, all using Anthropic AI systems for targeting.
What do you think about Palantir and their kind of role?
Which Palantir is the backbone to Anthropic. So now I say this to you. Do you guys remember the bombing of that little school?
Yeah. Where did we get the coordinates?
The day before that is when we purged the military of all those generals. And they were pissed. And Anthropic won't give certain uses to Hegseth. What I think that was a shot across the bow that was getting back at them for purging the military of the deep state bad actors, the entrenched and fortified.
Well, Howard over on YouTube says they use legislation to cover their ass. That way, they are above laws and policy. Sean, your thoughts, sir?
They use more than that. They spread this out. I have a slide on this that me and Feisty did earlier today on Feisty Digs. If anybody was interested in that
slide up, Sean, you can. It's fine. If you have it handy.
Yeah, I can look for it. It's so they use AI models for this, and they spread this out globally. And they use all sorts of networks for this, NGOs, administrative state, but they spread this out into Europe, Africa, even China, and so many other countries. The reason they do this is for plausible deniability.
Decentralization as well.
Yes. This is what prevents it from. Look at Fauci. Dude's got. Well, I think he thought he got away with it, but we're seeing indicators that all of that whole ship is coming down. Look at the SPLC just being indicted. Look at Fauci's little right-hand man being indicted. Look at Comey. Why are we just getting those three? Wow, I think we're going to see some singing. I think they're going to sing like canaries, all of them, all those three of them.
Well, the fourth wise man says. The fourth wise man says that is the playbook 101 in politics.
What is plausible deniability?
Well,
plausible deniability.
It was about when they were using legislation to cover as well.
Well, let's talk about legislation for a second. And I know Chris or Sean's going to laugh. Let's go back to the old Biden term of I need legislation to close the border. I need legislation to do every fucking thing. And then let's fast forward what a year, and the first one of the first executive orders, the border was fucking closed. why in my purview, why does one administration or regime need a fucking piece of document?
They don't. They needed to convince everybody. They needed to convince everybody that they needed that. When really they needed everybody to be dumb. They need us to be stupid and to outsource our thinking.
Well, well, my next statement will go exactly along with that.
Tribalistic.
That's what I was just going to say. Tribalistic.
Yep, they need us to do groupthink. But all right, if we're thinking independently, and well, how can we unite if we're also encouraging people to think for themselves and come to their own conclusions? Because as long as you want the same outcome, as long as you want a brighter future for your kids, you don't want to, I don't know, surrender to communism, right? To some elite class that sits up on an ivory tower in friggin' Brussels or whatever the fuck, then you're on the same team as me. That's the way I look at it, right?
Well, I'm going to go back to a statement.
That's why me and Salty Santa are always going to see eye to eye. Always. Doesn't
Sure.
matter.
Well, let me go back to a statement you said earlier. We are in these times, we are about contractual obligations. So legislation, or my previous statement, why do we need legislation? It's all about documentation. But do you really need a contract or a handshake to do a job? I know I'm ping-ponging a minute, but
well, we've been
why do I need
conditioned
a document to close the border? Why do I need a document
Well,
You don't.
Can I jump on that one, Sean?
Yeah, please.
We don't. It's
Right.
already laid out in the Constitution what the borders are, who's to maintain them. Boom.
Right, but why is the highest power in the land, if you will,
Sure.
just arbitrarily saying, "Oh, well, I want 3 million foreign invaders just to walk into my fucking country, and other than for votes," and I will go down that rabbit hole in a second.
Sure.
And we're going to give these motherfuckers everything. Me being disabled in a wheelchair, hobbling around, not able to get any type of assistance, but I can have somebody come into my country from mental institutions, from the Trump rhetoric, and I have to say rhetoric because it's what he said. From mental institutions, from prisons, and we're going to hand these motherfuckers everything in the world.
And what's the constitutional remedy?
Close the fucking border. There's one of the constitutional remedies.
And if the president's acting in a manner that's inconsistent with the law, what's the constitutional remedy?
Judicial system.
But when the judicial, I have to push back on you for just 1 second.
Go ahead, please.
When the judicial system fails, and obviously we have seen, and I'm sure everybody in here has seen some port or some profit.
And it goes to the Supreme Court, and they're not supposed to fail. And I don't think we've seen them fail.
But isn't that the point, though, Sean?
Okay.
Shouldn't we see all of these systems, all these checks and balances simply fail before our eyes? As Americans, we've never seen this before in our entire lives.
Agreed.
You know, so
in our lives, yeah.
How would we know there ever is a problem unless if it's actually shown to us?
Yes. All right. I'm so glad you said this. This is what we're watching play out. So people might see this as a bad thing. I don't see it that way.
It's not. It's not a bad thing.
I
It's
agree.
a great thing.
Here's
because
after the Civil
it's
War.
the transparency of things. It goes back to, like, dare I say, the Q stuff, but it's the fail safes that have to be shown that they failed in order for a military presence or some presence to actually
Enough
fully
must
take
see.
over and show.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
would one say, Sean, this is a Hollywood movie that we have seen in seen in prior life that is being played out to the T, and the speculators being speculators?
I'm not. Yeah, anything that requires that much. What are they? Occam's razor. Right?
Occam's razor. That's what I was getting to. Yeah.
Keep
I'd
it
ask-
simple.
I'd ask what prior life. This isn't just like a deep state
That's
within
a straw
America,
man.
right?
That's a straw man.
It's
no,
like
I
this-
get your semantic. Yes.
It's the global Leviathan. I mean, like we were on our last thread of humanity before this thing was going to fully take over. We were never going to be able to take back our country, our world, the way humanity would ever see what we know it as ever again.
Yep.
We were that close.
But I would have to ask the question, Hollywood is and could be a depiction of life.
That's predictive programming. Then you got the revelation of the method, where which is a satanic mantra, where they got to tell you their intentions, and whether you pick up on it or not makes no difference. They don't care, right? But you have to. I think again, in order to see the bigger picture, you oftentimes got to think like they do, or again, it doesn't matter whether we believe it or not. Doesn't matter if we believe or disbelieve in something or not. It's irrelevant. It doesn't change anything, right? That was one of the biggest revelations that I had to come to terms with. My belief doesn't matter, right? This is why it's important to be objective and to not just simply blanket accuse somebody of being a tiny hat. You Jews, it's the Jews. Blame it on the Jews. Shut the fuck up with that shit, man. It's so simple-minded and idiotic. Gosh.
Go ahead, Santa.
But Sean, isn't it also true? Perhaps it's not. I don't read Israeli newspapers.
They're a problem. Israel's a problem, no doubt about it, but they're not the problem.
A certain guy
have you
is
identified. I'm sorry, Santa. Go ahead.
a certain guy might have motivations to make sure that he remains the prime minister or whatever.
Yeah, Bibi, he's a
he
problem.
doesn't face charges.
Yeah, he's a problem, but he's not
So-
the problem.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just my opinion. Okay.
Yeah, but would have we really? I mean, okay, this is gonna this. I know
Good,
where
do
this
it,
is gonna
do
go.
it.
But out of water.
Fuck. John, I'm not going to punch the monitor tonight. I promise, Sean.
Show the courage of your conviction.
My conviction is who really is the fucking problem.
City
Have
of
we
London.
even
Names we don't
identified?
know.
City of
Names
You
London.
want to
we
answer the
don't
question
know.
for me before I answer or ask the fucking question? Seriously.
Because it's that straightforward.
Yeah, but
I would agree.
I agree.
City of London, but it's even bigger than that because it's this Satan's shadow behind everything of everything that we've simply never seen come to light before either. That has always been working in the midst, always been pulling the strings on all these other factions all over the world on everything, you know. So it's a new thing for us to be able to see, but I think a great representation would be North Korea. Initially, we always saw all these
Thank
missiles
you
being
for
fired and fired and
fucking
fired and
mentioning
fired and
Rocket
fired,
Man.
right?
Yep.
But then all of a sudden, he's best friends with Trump. He's all
Yeah, but-
smiles and
but-
everything.
but
Why?
one
What
would
happened
agree-
right there? What happened exactly?
He crossed the DMZ, and all of a sudden, Kim Jong Un got neutered.
Was it Kim, or was it?
No, he
things
was.
I'm
I think
talking
he.
about?
Yeah, I think he was. So this is where I believe in the notion of the sum of all fears scenario, where somebody was using North Korea, some sort of proxy state. There was two of them, proxy states, that I think were being used to foment a nuclear threat or possibly nuclear intervention between America and Russia. They were trying to spark something off, just like the Bay of Pigs. And one of those proxy countries that I think they were doing it was either North Korea North Korea and or Iran.
Correct.
Those two countries, I think, were being used to instigate.
They were the plausible deniability behind World War III.
Yes,
they were the.
And Saudi Arabia was a big player in all of this prior to 2017.
Yep.
Or 2018. Was it 2018? 2017?
Before the purge.
2017.
That was a huge thing that took place there. When we got them back, that was big. That was another method of neutering them. But it's also, but to your point for the win 2021, to your point, I couldn't agree with you more. It's also going to be presented to the point where we, the people, are taking it back as well. So it's not, and again, enough must see, but more than that, how does it get done so that we are the ones that are playing a role in this? You know what I mean? Look at California. We got Steve Hilton as the leading governor candidate. We got Spencer Pratt as the lead mayoral candidate in LA. We just did all sorts of, you get the Supreme Court ruling with the redistricting thing, the gerrymandering, racial gerrymandering. Do you know how catastrophic that is for the opposition? Systematically, one by one, we're neutering it.
Right. But when we are neutering it, it all goes back to one person. Trump. But I would not be hesitant to say that Trump is a little in certain terms, Trump is a little fish in a very big pond.
That's not just him, though.
I'm saying for
I think there's an alliance.
Let's backtrack this a little bit. We know their playbook. One world government, one world religion. Now, if you're them and you had to game this out, how do you obtain that? Who has to be wiped off the map to get there? Start filling in those answers, and you're going to make a whole lot more sense right now.
I agree. I
digress and retract that fucking statement. However, the divide is so great. Who will ever be able to fill that divide?
Pain.
Well,
and we're seeing pain. We're seeing pain right now.
No, are we though?
Well, let me give some more context to that. Let me give more context to that. We're seeing the pain at the pump. We're seeing the pain. We are seeing the pain in the grocery stores. Please mute Santa. I can hear something in the back. Please
check.
No, it's not you, Sean.
My chat's saying that I'm low, and I think that's StreamYards is cutting in on my mic.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
Don't worry.
Okay.
No, don't worry about it. It's not.
We're seeing. I'm sorry. We're seeing the pain at the pump. We're seeing the pain in the grocery stores. We're seeing the pain. We're seeing the pain, like going and buying a bell pepper. I can tell you probably a month and a half ago that I bought a bell pepper for 69 cents. Went and bought a bell pepper today and paid $1.19. We're seeing rising, no pun intended, inflation on everything.
Okay, did you hear about the hold on a second. Did you hear about the meat packing thing? DOJ just prosecuted something on this. I just reported on this as well.
Okay, Sean, please do.
Justice.gov. All right,
you can share it if you want.
Acting Attorney General Blanche announces antitrust investigations on meat packing operations, May 4th, 2026. This was today. They're
that goes along with the thing
jacking
I
up
was saying.
prices. And most of these, I think it's over 50%. Somebody might need to fact check me on this. Over 50% of it is offshored. So we get more than 50% of our meat comes from, I think, Brazil.
Yes. You are absolutely correct. Brazil. Yeah.
And if you wanted to make Trump look bad, then wouldn't you affect the meat prices? Hey, wouldn't you even affect the gas prices to boot?
I don't know if in my opinion,
anything that's gone up,
I think it's ball washing. To be very honest,
anything that's gone up, I would argue it's being deliberately manipulated to paint Trump to make him look bad, and to do so leading up to the midterms. That makes the most sense.
It's that, but it's also, like I was saying before, where it's this giant Leviathan that it's had its tentacles over everything. It was this close. It created its system that we currently reside in right now.
Yeah.
So all these prices and everything it created. Well, now if we're fighting back against it, what is it going to do? It's not going to just agree with us. It's going to want to strike back against us. Like what you're saying right now. Exactly.
Yeah, it's going to keep fighting back. But look
at OPEC now. UAE pulled out. Venezuela pulled out. These are the things that these people created. These are the systems that we are tearing down that we're not going to have in the future anymore. So right now there's all this chaos and fury, and people are wondering, well, what the fuck's going on? Well, it's because the systems that we have always known are crumbling around us. And that is what some of us look like, hey, this is chaos. But really, this is controlled demolition.
Yes.
Brick by brick by brick by brick.
Yes. I think, dude, that makes the most sense to me. Look at the Strait of Hormuz for a moment, right?
Strait of Trump?
Yeah, the Strait of Trump, right? Are we really to believe that this entire strait that's utilized by so many countries and relies on this for oil is controlled by a few IRGC members? Stop it. I got this bridge and you can just have it. All right. No, I'm not buying that for one moment. I'm going to the city of London.
Well, let's look at that now. So they were pumping out of Iran for the last 113 years with BP. So all of a sudden we cut them off.
Yeah,
Lloyd's of London was ensuring all the maritime shipping and everything.
90% globalists.
And then you had the king to show up. Surprise, surprise. He knew this was coming. He knew we were coming after their business. And they came because they were pissed that.
Can anybody tell me what props up the Great Britain's economy? Anybody?
Oil.
Yeah.
Do they have a product? Do they sell anything? Do they manufacture anything at all? Nothing. It's
Not
that
to my
shadow
knowledge, no.
banking. Shadow banking. And I think they are taking advantage of our fractional reserve. So those fractions, that's where they get their money. Think BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street Capital. Those are examples of shadow banking, right? And sure, if you want to think that some of the tiny hats are manipulating that, I would argue to that, though, beware of those who simply call themselves Jews and are not, and are of the synagogue of Satan. Wow, that's interesting because that just conveniently paints all Jews as evil, right? That's convenient. That's a trap.
Sean, most people would say the tiny hats pretty much control the banking system.
Yeah, beware of those who call themselves Jewish.
No. I know what you're saying. But
maybe even some genuine ones do. Yeah.
I was trying to correlate between ingenuous to the genuine, right? Now, could we say that Israel, mother of all states at the moment, would one say that they are in control at this point? I knew your answer, but I wanted to.
Yeah. You mean a state the size of New Jersey that's not even 100 years old? Yeah, I'm not buying it.
And how about that point?
That's what I was alluding to. You now, where is the central bank?
Do I think they're a problem? Absolutely. Yes. I think
Okay.
they need to get dealt with at some point. I really do. The law of return, what the hell is that? You're allowed to allow pedos as long as they have a Jewish grandmother. If you're convicted of pedophilia, you can escape to Israel. No, have a nice day.
No,
with that.
I don't buy that at all.
No,
Because
I believe it.
their penal system over there for PDF files or whatever is much more rigid than the United States. If you put it side by side, I believe it is an executable offense now.
I have to check that one.
I need to fact check that, but I've heard that a few times. Because didn't they just overhaul their penal system for different high or what we would call high offenses?
I'm ignorant with regards. I only know enough to have proven myself
to be dangerous.
Wrong, because I used to think Israel. Yeah, I used to think Israel was the big bad wolf. Honestly, I used to, and then I was like,
Me
"Oh,
too.
they're not even close. They're not even close." And then I started seeing controlled opposition / limited hangouts using Israel as the big bad wolf, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Now I really see what's going on here. They're using them to trap.
Well, who is really the threat?
City of London.
Here we fucking go again.
It's the crown. They're the head of the
beast. The real threat,
or the nobility. Yeah.
Well, let's.
And you don't know their names
on this a second.
Although I might argue,
have to request permission to enter.
I'm sorry.
The king has to request permission to enter. I believe on bended knee.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't think they even come close. Not to mention, look what's happened to them. Everything about the royal family has just disintegrated before our very eyes. Harry wants to renounce his titles. You got Prince Andrew being indicted. What? No.
But who is the real threat to America?
It's the nobility class. I've had I have a friend who is a regular guest on every Sunday with me, who goes by Duppy, and he has spent the last 5-6 years digging into the families. The one family he has settled on is a family not that anybody has really I've heard anybody discuss, and it's a family called the Cavendish family. They go all the way back to Constantine and even further. See themselves as, I think, descendants of Shem, one of Noah's kids, maybe. Bananas.
I'm trying to remember the
Cavendish is the bananas, and that's where they got. I think their riches, but and they all marry into other families. That's what they do. They marry their cousins and shit, and that's what they're into.
Right. Well, but I still renew my question: who is the real threat to America?
As of this moment, City of London. I'm just going to go back to the City of London every time, which is nobody's talking about it. How's that going to enter the mainstream? How's that conversation going to start to really enter into the overall public consciousness of America?
Well, I would be very fruitful in saying the media.
Well, so are you familiar with Promethean Action?
Yes.
Susan Kokinda and Barbara Boyd.
Yes.
PBD just had on Susan Kokinda last week, and she blew his mind by saying, yeah, it's the British who have assassinated all our presidents. It's the British who have been controlling and bringing in terrorists and have been fomenting race relations in America.
And I think wasn't it her that alluded to 9/11 that it was some sort of control
who
what the hell was her name?
Liz Truss.
Yes.
Or Diana, Princess Di.
I think it was Liz. I think.
I think she
Yeah.
was the former prime minister. I think.
Yeah, something like that. Wasn't it her, or it might have been Princess Diana, but for conversation purposes, wasn't one of them the ones that alluded and then made some sort of projection prior, and then it actually happened?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Damn, I had it. Well, regardless, we can go back to the conspiracy that the United States knew that 9/11 was going to happen. We can obviously allude to the projection of the terrorist cells that are in America going to try to dominate the United States, which I don't ever see what happened, but it has been projected. And what my opinion is, the real threat to the United States is North Korea.
How the heck did you land on that?
Yeah.
I'm landing on that as, okay, Trump is in power for the next 2 and 3/4 years, right? Maybe 3, right? You have
Four more years.
yeah, right. 2028, motherfucker.
Earmuff Santa.
They stole 2020. It's going to happen. They got to return the diamonds.
Sure. What I'm saying is, when you have the buddy system, when the buddy is not in power anymore, they're not your friend anymore. And Sean, I'm sure you could probably agree with that.
I think it comes down to being simply compromised, and I feel like Kim Jong-un was compromised, but he was released from that. What compromised him?
Right.
I don't have evidence to prove that. By the way,
And that goes back to the missiles being fired and everything. We gave them. They had the weaponry to be able to do what they did, but for the public optics, they had to see missiles being shot further and further and further away and away and away. It looked like they created it themselves.
Yeah.
They did not create that shit at all.
You're right. Same thing with Iran, by the way.
Yep.
Almost as identical.
And how convenient is it? Like, they always go back to last summer. Well, didn't they just bomb that mountain where all the uranium and all the stockpiles of all this weaponry was and everything? Well, where did that uranium come from? And isn't it convenient that it's under a mountain and no one can access it now? Where did it come from? Who is it tied to?
It came from here, our stockpile.
I was just going to say it comes from the U.S. As much as I hate to fucking admit it, but that's where.
But who? It's not the U.S. But who? Who from the U.S.?
So it's interesting because what really got me into this whole movement that we're doing and starting Americanizing media was a man who was a mentor to me, and I would encourage people to look him up. He passed away sadly last February, 2 Februarys ago. His name was Bill Stanbro, Stanbro, and he was like a mentor to me. I didn't even have so much as a GED. And he says, Sean, why don't you go back and finish school? He says, you're smarter than you give yourself credit for. Well, his job was to keep track of all the uranium and plutonium that America possessed down to the milligram. He was the one who confirmed it for me. Yes. And Redfish, you're right in my chat. Uranium-1.
Yeah.
Yep. Uranium-1. It was provided.
Yeah, but could we go back to the conspiracy of the suitcases being sent over on commercial airlines? That
suitcases, pallets of cash in different denominations.
Well, I was using suitcases in a very loose term, sir.
Yeah.
Suitcases.
Yeah, I don't think all of it made it there.
Maybe I would.
Keep in mind, by the way, they were in different denominations. They were in different currencies, by the way. What's the one country, the one place that can accept all different currencies? It's only one place. Called the city
See,
of
this is why I love you, Sean, because
Yeah,
you
it's the
make
city of
me
London.
think- yeah, London.
Yeah. Not
So-
London, the city of London. Big
the
difference.
city,
People
right.
need to know this. Santa's nodding his head. He
difference.
knows what time it is. Yes. It's a 1 square mile parcel of land within London. Don't confuse it with London. It's the city of London.
It's different.
Very different. It's old. It goes back to ancient Rome. Look at, there's a wall that still stands that borders it. And that was built by ancient Rome.
Some people think it harkens back to the Roman Empire or the Holy Roman Empire.
I think it was like 40 years after.
Yeah.
I think it was. I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
Well, gentlemen, I have to say we hit these topics, and my good friend Sean from America Rising Media has made promises that he has now kept, and you know,
Was that whipping me
you,
like a
Sean?
new
You
kid?
damn well know I was going to say something, and it's okay. Sean, you have given me an opportunity,
bro.
Yeah, touche, brother. You have given me a very good opportunity to become a part of the America Rising family, and
I want you to do what you're doing right here, by the way.
I knew. Your administrative assistant has made the apology that this is what he wants you to do. That's fine.
I just want to say real quick. I know I'm sorry I'm kind of breaking in a little bit here. I haven't been talking much. Probably forgot I was here. But I just wanted to say I know where it came from, but I don't know where it went. It came from Cotton Eye Joe, but I don't know where it went.
So anyway, I know Sean is about to end his show. I have signals that I know he's about to end his show. So anyway, Sean, tell everybody in the chat where to find you, where to find me on Tuesday mornings, or that was kind of the consensus. But anyway,
So Tuesday mornings, is that what you want? Tuesday mornings?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I believe the agreement, and let me go back because I'm old or getting older and I can't remember shit sometimes. 9:30 to 11 Tuesday mornings for now.
Ash, let us know. Is Tuesday's work? I can kind of hear myself. Anyways, America Rising. This is a site. We have a site, americarising.media. You can see all the list of shows. We're going to be adding more shows. My objective is 24/7 content. And one of the objectives, core objectives, is we talked about this earlier. There's so many groups, subgroups of not just MAGA, but Americans. There's got to be some way to bring everybody together. All right, there's got to be. I want to be able to have different discussions. Guess what? We have a show every Wednesday called The Skiff with me, Joe Rambo, Adel Nero of 412 and On, and Awakened Outlaw, and a few others, reoccurring guests. And they're the full control crowd. They think very differently, but again, when it comes down to understanding the bigger picture, and we all want the same thing in the end, really, that's all that matters. So I want to have wide range of discussions. I want to bring every group together. So 24/7, that is the objective. AmericaRising.media. You can check us out at. We do the news every night during the week. We have shows like Truth Blitz during the day. Shout out to Mayor Bear, 1 p.m. Eastern. Every day except for Wednesday. And then I do a show, It Needed to Be Said, on Friday nights. We do a fun show every Sunday called Patriot Theater, where we break down predictive programming. We watch 2 movies. We just did Crime 101 and The Beekeeper on Sunday. And there was some predictive programming, quite a bit actually in The Beekeeper, not so much in the Crime 101, but yeah, we have a blast doing it. It's kind of a nice little reset. So Sunday, 9 p.m. That's on my channel, Sean and On. All one word on Rumble. And you can find America Rising Media on YouTube, Rumble, Pill.net, by the way, X, and what else am I forgetting? Truth.
I was going to say Truth.
Yeah, Truth Social. Yeah.
Are we on X too? I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Sean, I'm going to now vote that Ash give you a post-it note and send it to you so you remember the whole diet. No, joking. I can get away with that now.
Don't worry, because Ash has got many job titles. She's got the Marco job.
She's the Marco Rubio of America Rising.
You got it.
She wears many hats. Yes,
absolutely. And Sean, I have to say the opportunity is well sought after, and I was very nervous talking to you and asking you if the consideration was there.
Why?
I don't fucking know. You don't answer text message. You don't answer fucking DMs. I mean, so I have to go to the executive secretary to get a message to the guy, right? But I will tell you, it's going to be a good time. I have my first guest co-host already. This has been
I want you to have panels like this, man. This is awesome. I want conversations like this. This is where progress is made.
Okay, Ash, you need to put it on my schedule. Conversation and never fucking leave. Anything like that. The Raging Tomato. When I got the message that you were about to hit the button and she ended the stream, I was like, shit. But it worked out that I stayed live and you came over. And Sean, you are more than welcome to invade my channel and everything. And anytime, it's been a pleasure to have you on. I'm going to stay here. We're going to give final thoughts and I will end the stream. Salty Santa, your final thoughts.
Damn, I'm getting tired. I think we started this at like, let's see, 7 hours ago. But the conversations were always lively, and I appreciate where we have conversations that stretch our viewpoints and our mindsets, because if we're not challenging our own thinking, then someone else is controlling it.
Yes. Oh gosh, Santa. Well
you know what, Sean? I think. Oh yes, they have some new hatchlings.
Oh, I want one.
No, you don't. You think your schedule's bad now? Have one of them. Anyway, for
God bless you guys. I gotta head out.
Yep, Sean.
Have a good night, guys.
Everybody over on Pilled, we will see you soon. Thank you, Sean, for coming.
All right, guys. You got it. Good night.
For the win, your final thoughts on the panel this evening, sir.
Well, I want to thank you for the invite on over. That was amazing. So appreciate that. This is one of those things that right now we're in this time of there's just so much going on. The news is coming out like a fire hose all the time. So, when we have people that delve into this stuff more than the average bear, it's good to be able to hear these things from multiple angles and stuff, because there's just so much to talk about at the end of the day. So, City of London, definitely. And the gas prices, you were talking about the pain earlier. We're going to have some gain in the very near future, definitely. So I know that.
Thank you for the win, and obviously you will see me very soon on the America Rising platform, and I look forward to you coming back on this platform and any platform or panel. You know how to get a hold of me if you would like.
You got it, brother. Appreciate
the
it.
Raging Tomato, or AKA Toasty Man Bad. Your final thoughts, sir, on tonight's panel.
I had a great time. I was got very interested in the conversation that was going on, so I went a little bit quiet. I'm sorry about that. I definitely look forward to come around a little bit more. I was very interested in Sean's perspective, especially when he thought about the possibility of the victims being actors. And it was getting me to thinking about how, how they used to take orphans, and then they would turn them into spies and stuff like that. Because, the orphan is the ultimate spy. They don't got any family that they're emotionally and mentally or spiritually attached to, all that stuff. So they're real easy to mold. And then I was like, holy shit. Well, what if we took what if we took the young orphaned girls and we turned them into sex victims, right? We train them, we give them world class acting lessons and stuff like that, and then we get them up in front of a court, and then we can just sit there and character assassinate people with professional victim criers. And I know that's not like revelationary, but that's the first time I've heard an argument like that be given in the space of the Epstein file discussion and stuff like that. We always hear all this talk about like handlers and stuff like that, but I've never heard anybody go in the direction of the sexual assault victim claiming. I think it would be called I was listening to the uranium stuff and everything like that, and I had to pop in with the Cotton Eye Joe joke because that just so perfectly went along with what we were talking about. And I think that's about it. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much for everybody coming in. Security, are you still here? Your final thoughts, sir.
Now we got a great opportunity and we're gonna have a great show. So stay on the lookout for when we pop up on America Rising.
Yeah, it was a long time. It was a long time coming. A lot of work on my part. And Neil or Salty Santa and Elf, I will welcome you on my show on America Rising. Probably my first show. So it may be early in the morning for you, but he likes to take his naps. Anyway, here at Spin City News, we try to bring you good content, just like the Raging Tomato. And it has been fun, but it is 4:35 Eastern time. Young lady, take care of your little hatchling. Everybody can stay here. We're going to play the outro, and then we will say goodbye.
You want to say goodbye to the little hatchling?
Yes, yes. You know what? Let's say goodbye to the little hatchling. She is so proud of the little hatchling. Good night, little hatchling. You will be pulling Santa's sleigh very soon.
Yeah, probably ping on her hand right over my laptop.
Oh, good Lord. Everybody stay here. You're going to go backstage. We will end and we will say goodbye. And until next time, America, we'll see you soon.